your entire life that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get a bone out the bed and start to move your balls. Sick up a word in Solomon Jones. Word. You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD Radio, and I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. And I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is beautiful outside again, Kawesa. When I'm looking out here at these clouds, Kawesa, it kind of reminds me of the way the clouds used to look on The Simpsons. You remember how the clouds used to look a little bit like that?
They do.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Makes you feel kind of good. Makes you feel a little nostalgic. Yeah. You know, like I want to laugh a little bit and you know, just enjoy myself. And you know, I want to talk today though about mindset, because today, of course, is election day, and we want everybody to get out there and vote because, you know, mindset can push you to victory, even when you're behind, as it did for WURD's own rapping professor and his brother Martin on Shazam last night. Shout out to them. We want to congratulate them. They won $1 million on that show. It's like Name That Tune, but a little bit more updated. They won $1 million, man. And it really goes back to mindset, because mindset can keep you frozen in a state of victimhood unless you're careful about how you see yourself. Mindset can make you see things for what they can be, even if you're in the worst of circumstances. Mindset determines winners and losers. Mindset makes the impossible into reality, but mindset can also be an evil thing, telling us that others are not worthy of life or liberty or even respect. And when that is our mindset, it sets the stage for hate. Let me tell you about U.S. Border Patrol agent Matthew Bowen. He had a mindset that was evident in text messages he sent, calling migrants subhuman and savages just weeks before he knocked over a migrant with a pickup truck, according to federal court documents. Bowen is accused of knocking over that Guatemalan man with his Border Patrol vehicle in Arizona, according to documents filed in court in Tucson. And prosecutors had pointed to those text messages to show his state of mind before he allegedly tried to kill that migrant with his vehicle. Today, I want to challenge you to watch your mindset. Fix your mind on your spiritual growth. Fix your mind on achieving your goals. Fix your mind on elevating our people. And then today, on this election day, go out and vote. Only then can we hold people accountable for what they do in our name. Go vote and set your mind on winning. We got a jam-packed show for you today on Wake Up with Word. David Thornburg of the Committee of 70 breaks down what's on the ballot in today's election. Ben Waxman of the DA's office on what to do if you have trouble at the polls. CNN commentator Roxanne Jones has one black woman's perspective on the Alabama abortion ruling. Plus, Micah Sims of Common Cause Pennsylvania on what today's votes mean for black folks in particular. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065 or toll free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at forward. But first, it's the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number one, the rapping professor wins. That's right, WURD's own Dr. Aaron Smith, Temple University's rapping professor, teamed with his brother Martin to come from behind to win $1 million in the season premiere of Fox's Guess the Music game show, Beat Shazam. What'd you think, Kawesa? You were watching it, right?
I was watching it.
What'd you think?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is that when I started watching it, I was like, oh no, they're gonna lose. Like, they're not. I was nervous because they weren't getting on the board.
Yeah.
But then they just kept winning and winning and winning, and then winning in the Shania Twain section. And I was like, I don't know all these songs from Shania Twain, but I was really concerned at the end because I was like, just take the money. Don't go with the $1 million. But his brother's like a savant. Like, he was up there just. Aunt Martin was just answering all those questions.
Well, you know what it was? Their grandfather had
a record store.
And so they had heard all of these records, knew all of these records, apparently had a big collection, so that helped them to pull out in the end. So congratulations to our very own rapping professor and, of course, his brother Martin for the big win in Shazam last night. Story number 2, a federal judge ruled against President Donald Trump on Monday in a lawsuit to block a subpoena from House Democrats for information about his finances. U.S. District Court Judge Amit Mehta strongly endorsed Congress's broad authority to investigate the president, striking a blow to arguments made by Trump's legal team. As far as the financials are concerned, Trump said it's totally the wrong decision by an Obama-appointed judge. Well, Mr. President, with all due respect, sir, presidents, and you should know this as the president, don't appoint judges. They nominate them, and then they are confirmed by the U.S. Senate, which, by the way, is controlled by Republicans. Boy, if you don't learn your job. Look, so they have the freedom to now get those documents from his accountants and look into his finances that way. So we'll see. What do you think, Kwesa?
As they should. I mean, we have to know if he can be moved or swayed in any way because of his finances, and his finances could be getting us in a war, or making it so that we're not safe here as American people. So I definitely feel like this is the right move, and so you need to show your finances. You do.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. And so we'll see, man. Because who's manipulating him? Who has some kind of financial hold over him? Somebody could be blackmailing him. We don't know because he won't show anybody his finances. That's why former presidents have shown their finances so we could see that everything was open and above board. Now, of course, the only way that you can let me put it this way. In terms of appointing anybody, you can do a recess appointment while Congress is in recess, but that's not normally the way this thing works. So, again, Mr. President, with all due respect, learn your job. Story number 3, today is primary day across Pennsylvania in an off-year election. But while you aren't voting for president or governor or Congress, this election is, and I would argue, even more important because you're voting for the local leaders who will affect your life more than anyone in Washington, D.C. All politics, of course, is local. On the ballot in Philadelphia are races for mayor, all city council seats, city commissioners, sheriff, register of wills, and numerous elected judgeships. 4 ballot questions are also up for a vote. And so we want to know, are you going out to vote today and why? Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. We had a big discussion yesterday, Kwesa, around millennials and voting. I know a lot of young people who will proudly tell you, I don't vote, and you a sucker for voting. It's a system. It's rigged. We know that the system is rigged, and you are wasting your time by voting. We're going to wait to see who wins, and then we're going to protest afterward. And, God bless them. I respect everybody's opinion, but I don't agree with that because the bottom line is this for me, and this is why I vote. Because guess what? When I get a check, before I even see all my money, they already have taken out the taxes. And those taxes are controlled by the people that we elect. And so it's almost like just allowing somebody to just take your money and you have no say over your money that you have worked for, your money that you have struggled for, your money that's supposed to be taking care of your family, and they just go take it and you say, oh, that's all right, you could just have it. And I don't want to have any say over what happens with my money. Man, you got to be out of your mind. That's why I vote because you are taking my tax dollars, and I want to have a say in what happens with that money. I work for that money. I don't work for that money. I worked for that money. You know what I mean? So, to just allow them to just take your money and just not have a say in it, to me, Kwesa, that's when you're being a sucker.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think, and we, talked about this the other day, and I know that, me personally, it has been a little hard because I don't feel like my elected officials are doing what I need for them to do, but at the same time, I also look at the history and the fact that, people died in order for me to even get to as far as I am at today. And I can't complain about a system if I don't at least try to actively participate in it. So it doesn't cost me anything to vote. I just go, I push a button, and that's it. So, at least if there's any way that I can move the needle even a little bit, I'm going to continue to keep doing it, even though I still feel like, man, why am I out here? But I do personally think that it is important and vitally important to get out and make your vote count.
And I want to hear from those who aren't voting. And I want to hear why you're not voting and what you think about the system and what you think it is that we need to be doing instead. Because I think that we need to have that conversation. Okay, if you're not going to vote, what should we be doing instead? Tell us. You know what I mean? If you feel like you have a better answer, then please let us know, because I think the rest of us deserve your wisdom. You know what I mean? If you know that the system is rigged and by participating in it, you're hurting our people, etc., then please tell me your better answer, because I need to know it too. I like wisdom too. So hook me up. Let me know. 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio, and let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about this morning. One of the things that interests me in looking at what is happening with our folks is the fact that when you look at the numbers, black folks, and particularly young black folks, are the ones who are caught up in the system, are the ones who are dying not only at the hands of police, but really more at each other's hands. When you look at the homicide numbers, when you look at the shooting numbers in particular in the city of Philadelphia, there were almost 1,400 shooting victims last year in the city. Almost 40% of them were between 18 and 25. So you take 7 years out of a young person's life, and in those 7 years, that's when they're likely to be shot in the city of Philadelphia. But if you go up to the age of 40, almost 3/4 of those who were shot in the city of Philadelphia last year, almost 3/4 of them were between 18 and 40. 90% of them were men. 3 out of 5 of them were black. And most of them survived being shot. But when you look at those numbers, what you see is that young black men are the ones who are being shot in our city. And that's just a reality, right? And certainly we have responsibility for our own. The fact that last year, as 9 out of 10 of the people who were shot were men, as 3 out of 5 of them were black, as almost 3/4 of them were between the ages of 18 and 40, when these young black men were being shot, those who died, only 4 out of 10 of those murders were solved. And it hurts me to my heart, because when we had the brothers in here who were talking about doing the event around bringing together 500 black men to address what's happening with violence on the street, this man sat here just 3 feet from me and said, my son died and they still have not found the killer. But when the chief inspector's son was shot, they found him in 4 days. That's a problem. And that's a political problem. Because the mayor appoints the police commissioner answers to the mayor, city council decides the budget, and so if the police always have the budget they need, and they are still not finding those who are killing our people, that's a problem. I want to know what you think. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation. We are going to go to break, and on the other side, I know we got a caller on the line. We're going to get to you right on the other side of this break. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent black media.
I
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
Hi, I'm Cody Anderson in support of the re-election of Philadelphia Sheriff Jewel Williams. I've known Jewel for over 40 years. I've watched him grow and develop from a community activist to a state representative to the sheriff. I know him to be a man of integrity, honesty, and commitment to serving the people of Philadelphia, not his own self-interest. In Jewel, what you see is what you get. He's not a showboat, he's the real deal. He's making positive change in the Philadelphia Sheriff's Office. Tuesday, May 21st, vote to re-elect Democrat Sheriff Jewel Williams. Push button number 53.
Paid for by Citizens for Jewel Williams, and I am Jewel Williams, and I approve this message.
This is Councilwoman Maria Quiñones Sanchez. Thank you for your continued support. I'm your fighter in City Hall because our neighborhoods deserve excellent services and a voice that goes beyond divisive rhetoric and special interests. I never forget that I'm fighting for you and your family's future every day. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st, press number 85, Democrat for City Council, 7th District. When we work together, we all win. Paid for by Friends of Maria.
Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM, WURD.
Hello, I'm Ron Hawthorne. I'm a lifelong Philadelphian who appreciates effective leaders. I believe that hard-working class citizens should have a leader that best represents the interests of the community. I've spent many years watching elected officials fall on their sword for greed, power, and taxpayer settlement payouts. That stops here on May 21st with Rochelle Bilal for Philadelphia Sheriff.
It's time for change, Philadelphia. Push button number 50 for Rochelle Bilal for Sheriff. Paid for by the Friends of Rochelle Bilal.
Need a new mattress? Stop by to see Julian, the mattress man, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure the best prices on name brand mattresses like Sealy, Posturepedic. Call 215-424-5550. That's 215-424-5550.
Today is Election Day. Hi, I'm Asa Khalif, an activist and organizer in the Black Lives Matter movement and candidate for council at large, number 82 on your ballot. I am running to bring the voices of the streets into City Hall. I promise you it will be difficult to ignore the needs of our neighborhoods with me at the table. I will fight to remove the soda tax, to end the 10-year tax abatement, which gives tax-free homes to new residents, driving our seniors, black and brown and poor people out of their homes. I will fight for full funding for youth after-school and summer programs, for victims and families of police violence, for true affordable housing, fair access to jobs, and end the school-to-prison pipeline of our young boys and girls. I'm Asa Khalif, asking for your vote and support today to elect me to council at large. I'm number 82. Remember, the people united will never be defeated. Paid for by Asa for Council.
Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14 for Judge of the Court of Common Pleas, an African-American candidate for judge. Sherman has been fighting for justice and serving our community for over 20 years. He is endorsed by the Democratic Party and the Laborers Union on Election Day, Tuesday, May 21st. Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14, an African-American candidate for judge. And remember, there's no stopping Sherman Toppin.
Paid for by the committee to elect Sherman Toppin for judge.
Now, a traffic update on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Park and Fly Philadelphia. Jam northbound on the Blue Route 476. Jam from 95 up to McDade. Accident there off to the left southbound Norristown through the Schuylkill. Heavy Broomall down through McDade. Now southbound 95. Your jam Cotman down through Girard. Northbound 95. That is a busy ride now. Your jam Vine Expressway to Allegheny. An accident there. Schuylkill eastbound Blue Route through the curve. Montgomery through Girard. Your jam westbound University through South. Jam McCity out to Belmont. On 295 both ways to 42 getting busy. 55 north jam Deptford to 42. 42 north jam College Drive through 295. With luggage assistance and quick shuttle service, Park and Fly has it all. Sign up for their frequent Parker program and get 3 free days. Reserve your Park and Fly space today at pnf.com. That's pnf.com. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. For those just joining us, it is election day. Get out the bed, get out there and vote. The polling place is only a couple of blocks from your house. You know it. Get down there and vote. We want to hear about your voting experiences. Have you been to your polling place yet? What have you seen? We need you to be our eyes and ears on the street and let us know what is going on out there on election day. Today, as many of you know, because the city is so heavily Democratic, whoever wins in these Democratic primaries, usually, you know, the general is just a foregone conclusion. So whoever wins in the primary, for instance, is probably going to be your next mayor. Whoever wins in the primary is probably going to be your next city council person. So, you know, the general is just really a formality in Philadelphia because the Democrats have such a big edge in registration. But I want to hear what you're seeing out there in those streets. Are you voting? And if you're not voting, I want to hear why. I want to hear if you've got a better idea. I want to hear if you've got a better process. I want to hear if you've got something better that we should be doing as a people in order to move us forward. Certainly voting is not the end all and be all. It's just one step in a process, in my view. You know, you vote and then you hold people accountable. You vote and then you are in their face. You vote and then you make sure that they are doing what they said they were going to do. As a matter of fact, you make sure that they're doing what you need them to do. Not even necessarily what they said they were going to do. No, I need you doing what we need you to do. Not your own agenda, but ours. Right? And so I want to know what you think. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. The other thing I want to tell you about is the fact that WURD's very own Dr. Aaron Smith and his brother last night on the music show Shazam won $1 million. That's right. They won $1 million on that show last night. So congratulations to our own Dr. Aaron Smith, the rapping professor. I know he is asleep this morning, sleeping off the fact that, yeah, I won that $1 million. That is a wonderful thing. We congratulate him. And so we want to hear from you. Give us a call. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in on today's show. We're going to go to the phone lines. We're going to get to our first caller. Samita from North Philly is on line one. Go ahead, Samita.
Hi, it's Shamita.
Hi, Shamita.
Hi. Hello, Word family. This is my first time calling. I listen a lot.
Thank you so much.
I like both of you guys, Aaron Smith and you, Solomon.
Thank you.
I listened this morning about the voting. I am a voter, always voted. Have my son go to vote with me, and my husband, he votes. But he's a Democrat right now because he tried to be the committee for our community. But because he was a city worker, they wouldn't allow him to be the committee man for our block, for our community. I thought that was pretty, you know, it was pretty embarrassing because he had to pay a fine. They made him pay a fine just because he wanted to help the community.
He paid a fine for what? Did he violate some kind of rule or something? Why did he have to pay a fine?
It's a violation when you're on the ballot, and he didn't know.
Oh, okay.
He just wanted to help the community.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I've always been an independent voter.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my son and my husband, but he became Democrat to help out the community because they made him become Democrat for that reason. But me and my son went to vote.
Wait a minute. Who made him become so you're an independent, so you can't. Well, you can vote in the primary, but not in all of the races.
Right. They don't let me vote all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was discouraged because I felt like a lot of people I know are independent voters, and so now we're not counted for. You know, so when it's time to vote for those big elections, we can't vote, and you know, there's a lot of people not voting because of that reason.
Well, one of the things you can do is you can register either Republican or Democrat for the primary, and then you can go back to independent for the general election.
Okay. Now, see, they were telling me it's not good to go back and forth.
But you can. They can't stop you from doing that. You can do it.
Okay. so I didn't think of that because I wanted to vote, and we went to the polls, and of course they turned us away, and they'd say, well, you can't vote this election, you know, and then they would explain why. But I felt like with independent voters that we should still be able to choose, you know, which way we want to go.
Yeah.
Because right now I don't know who to vote for, but I have an idea, but still you want a choice.
Yeah, you do. You do. And that's the way the primaries work in Philadelphia. You have to be registered for either party to vote in those primaries. Now, the one thing that you can do as an independent is you can answer those 4 ballot questions that they have on the ballot. So it's not like you can't vote at all. You just can't vote for the candidates, but you can vote on those ballot questions.
For the ballot,
yep.
Yes. Okay,
yep.
And I did do that when I went. Yes.
Okay.
So I do want to play a part, you know, however I can, but I want to do the most I can.
I know that's right.
I think I'm going to follow what you said. I might switch, you know, back and forth.
Yeah.
Just so that I can count.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll let everybody else know.
All right, Shamita, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Thomasine Tyne. She's on line 2. Good morning.
Hi, Salman. I wanted to let you know, for some reason, in our division where we are now, the machines are not working. Only the questions come up. We try to call the tell about the machines not working properly, but nobody's answering. And
What's the ward and division?
52nd Ward, 2nd Division, River Park House.
All right, we'll give a call. 52nd Ward.
2nd Division, yes. Vote machines. Only thing comes up is the questions. You can't vote for anyone, and about 10 people we had to turn away.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. See, that's the kind of stuff you get, Kwesa, every election. You get places where the voting machines are not working. And you know, that disenfranchises people. That disenfranchises people who otherwise would be voting. And so we need to deal with that. We'll give a call to the city commissioner's office and see if we can't get that fixed. But we want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning's show. Let's go to Ken from Center City on line 1. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning, Salman. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Fine. I was first in line.
All right. All right.
There were only about 6 people. I was there at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Actually, I got there at 10 minutes to 7. But the guy and I, we compete for the first spot in the line. I beat him this. I'm serious. I beat him this time.
Okay.
Substantially. He was all red in the face. But anyway, the machines were working, and the people were, you know, no violations. Nobody was too close. Nobody was being turned away. There were 3 people who came to the wrong place.
Okay.
And they did check, and they were told which were the, you know, place to vote was, you know, where the precinct.
Did they change the location of the polling places recently? Is that why people are confused?
Well, sometimes they combined one for the midterm last fall.
Okay.
And then, but then that's been, I don't know what, you know, with the way things were changed. I don't know all the different districts, but they just changed one of the divisions. I don't know which one it was, but I know that it's no longer at the Broad and Pine location.
Okay. Okay.
So, you know, I mean, it's not, and I don't know which one. It was only temporary last fall, so I guess they came back again, not knowing. Nobody, no major changes that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I've been voting here for 20 years.
Wow.
But people have to vote. I mean, you know, you can complain about the system, but the way to change it is to be in it. You have to change it inside out.
That's right. That's right. And you can work both ways. You can work from the inside out and the outside in, but you need to be coordinated in how you work it.
Yeah, the way I do it is usually from the inside out. You know, because I noticed Asa Khalif is on the ballot this time. I thought that was a hoop.
Yeah.
I mean, because you have to understand the difference in the dynamic from 2 years ago to now.
Yeah.
I think it's progress.
Yeah, it is progress. It absolutely is.
Yep.
All right, Ken.
You take care.
All right, you too. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. And, of course, Asa Khalif is a longtime activist in the city of Philadelphia, hellraiser in the city of Philadelphia, and he decided this time around he was going to run for city council at large. And so he is on the ballot running for city council at large. He's one of, I guess, 35 Democratic candidates running for council at large. So it's a whole lot of people on that ballot. But again, you know, you can work from the outside through protesting. You can work from the inside through running for office. And that's one of the things I struggle to understand about those who say they would rather protest than vote, because I guess my point of view is that if you don't like what's on the ballot, then get on the ballot yourself. Do like Asa Khalif. Get on the ballot yourself. Black Lives Matter in St. Louis was able to get in their own prosecutor because they decided, okay, we've protested. Now we're going to organize and we are going to coalesce around a candidate so that we can have the kind of justice that we think is fair to everybody. And that's what you got to do. Certainly you work from the outside. You get somebody in the street that's crazy. You know what I mean? That's going to do what has to be done in terms of protesting, but you also have to have somebody on the inside who has the same agenda, right? And if they don't, then you hold them accountable, you get them out. I want to know what you think. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's the number. Let's go to Gloria Hammond from Sharon Hill. Good morning.
Good morning, Solomon, everyone there. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm blessed. Yeah, I'm here in Philly. I'm going home to vote before I go to work.
All right. All right.
Getting out there in the lines in Sharon Hill. You know, pray for Sharon Hill, too. There's a young man that was shot funny around the corner from him. He's on the news and everything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he died. Yeah, right there in Darby Township. Yeah, I seen the body and everything.
Wow.
Terrible.
Wow.
Yeah, so, you know, we have our problems out there, too, you know. But I will be getting in line if I go to work this afternoon.
Okay. All right.
Y'all have a blessed
All right. All right, Gloria. We appreciate that. Thank you so much for your call. All right. You know, praying for these for our young people, man. And again, it goes to a couple of things, man. You know, it goes to, you know, our own behavior and responsibility. We got to deal with that. But we also have to deal with the fact that our lives are not as valued. Because if people didn't think they could get away with murder, they wouldn't do it. Not in the numbers that we see. Now, some people just don't care. They're going to do it anyway. But if you have, in 2018, you know, a 60% chance of getting away with it, then you take your chances. And that's one of the things that's happening in our streets. And you can tell that there is a difference in terms of the importance of how these things are handled. Because when you have the son of someone in the police brass who's killed, then they find that murder in 4 days. All right, folks, it's 4 years later, and you still haven't arrested anybody, even though there are those who know who did it. That's a problem. We're going to talk to a brother on Wednesday who was in jail for life for a murder he didn't commit because they decided, okay, we got to clear this murder, so we're going to pin it on him. We don't care what the evidence says. We're going to make these witnesses say what we need them to say. We're going to threaten them. We're going to beat them up. We're going to do whatever we have to do to make sure that we get this one cleared with this man right here. He's going to go to jail for this. So either you have no justice or you have miscarriages of justice, that's a political decision. And so, you know, the mayor has to be held accountable. You know, to an extent, you have council that needs to be held accountable because, again, you have a system of checks and balances where you have council that, you know, is a check to the mayor. Now, we have a strong mayor system where the mayor has, you know, an inordinate amount of power, but with that power comes responsibility. You got to be responsible for that. If we're not clearing homicides in our community, but other folks, you know, you find their killers in 4 days, you got to be held accountable for that. So I want to know what you think. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. We have to go out and vote. 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation. We are going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to take your calls right here at WURD. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
Hello, my name is Billy Thompson, and I'm number 63 for City Council at Large. For the past 20 years, I've been a servant and an advocate for the youth and seniors of Philadelphia. I have been endorsed by the Returning Citizens for Better Philadelphia, the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity, and Senator Anthony Hardy Williams. We all know that our city needs change, and I'm asking you to press number 63 for Billy T on May 21st. God bless you, and God bless Philadelphia. Paid for by Friends of Billy Thompson, Treasurer Albert Davis Jr.
Hi, I'm Erica Almiron. I've spent the last 20 years organizing our communities to fight for justice. I'm running for Philadelphia City Council at Large, and I'm fighting for fully funded schools, affordable housing, and criminal justice reform. That's why I've been endorsed by over 25 organizations across our city, including Black Clergy of Philadelphia, SEIU 32BJ, and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Use your power today and vote for me, Erica Almiron, for City Council at Large, button number 68. This ad was paid for by Friends of Erica Almiron.
Hi, I'm Thera Martin for Democratic City Council at Large candidate Bobby Curry, a diehard WURD listener and forward member. Democrats in Philadelphia are coming together for change, and Bobby Curry says change starts with him. Bobby Curry opposes tax abatements, soda taxes, and cigarette taxes. He believes in fairness in school funding, youth job programs year-round, affordable housing, and a basic discount system on real estate and employment taxes for low-income senior citizens. May 21st, vote for change and push button number 70 for Bobby Curry.
This is Bobby Curry, and I approve this message.
As a mom of 2 young boys in Philadelphia, I worry constantly about not only their education, but their safety. Each day on the news, I hear about countless young people lost to gun violence. That's why on May 21st, I'm voting for Isaiah Thomas for City Council at Large. Isaiah Thomas has the background, experience, and innovative ideas to improve the lives of young people and all Philadelphians. So remember to push button number 71 and vote Isaiah Thomas for City Council at Large.
Paid for by Citizens for Isaiah Thomas.
Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875
or visit wordradio.com.
On May 21st, elect Dennis Lee for City Commissioner, former Chief Deputy City Commissioner who fought against the state voter ID law. As City Commissioner, he will focus on voter education, voter registration, and voter participation in order to guarantee access to free and fair elections. Vote for Dennis Lee for City Commissioner, May 21st, paid for by Citizens for Dennis Lee, Miller Parker, Treasurer.
Anthony Kyriakakis is the fair voice we need on the Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas. As a defense attorney, Anthony volunteered for President Obama's Clemency Project. He has fought to end racial inequities in our justice system. Now, Anthony is running for judge. He's endorsed by the Democratic Party and received the Philadelphia Bar Association's highest rating. On May 21st, push button number 19 to vote for Democrat Anthony Kyriakakis. Paid for by Anthony Kyriakakis for judge.
This is Anthony Kyriakakis, and I approve this message.
Hi, Philadelphia. I'm Lori Dow, ballot number 18, asking for your support on May 21st for election as judge with the Court of Common Pleas. I'm from West Philadelphia, born and raised, endorsed by labor unions and the Philadelphia Bar Association. Please help me continue my work as a public servant, protecting children and strengthening families. I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st. Press number 18 for Lori Dow, judge, Court of Common Pleas.
Paid for by Friends of Lori Dow for judge.
Philadelphia, this is Roland Martin, and I'm partnering with the Education Media Group, the 74, to host the Is School Choice the Black Choice Town Hall event on May 29, 2019 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Mastery Charter School's Shoemaker campus. Our goal is simple: to convene local stakeholders and help stimulate more genuine fact-based conversations about the tough education issues impacting black folks in Philadelphia. We will also hear from local and national education leaders as we debunk myths about school choice and empower participants with the resources to choose the best options for you. This event is free of charge and child care will be provided. We'll also have a partner networking fair 30 minutes before and after the event where you can learn more about additional engagement opportunities with the various organizations that will be represented. Log on to Eventbrite and search for Is School Choice the Black Choice to register for this event. We look forward to seeing you there.
Now, a traffic update
on Word Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Indeed.com. Still a jam ride this morning on the Blue Route 476. You're jammed up northbound off of I-95 to past McDade. Accident still off to the left southbound jam mid-county through the Schuylkill and Broomall. Right down through McDade. Now I-95 southbound. That is jam Cotman down through Girard. Northbound jam north of the state line up to the Blue Route. North Vet Penn's landing through Allegheny jam. That earlier crash cleared. Schuylkill Expressway both ways. You're at a jam this morning. 295 heavy both ways in the 42 northbound jam College Drive to 295, 55. Deptford in the 42 Ben Franklin Bridge jam midspan to Center City. Indeed, used by over 3 million businesses for hiring, where business owners and HR professionals can post job openings with screener questions, then sort, review, and communicate with candidates from an online dashboard. Learn more at Indeed.com/hire. For more traffic information, log on to SIGALert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. And we got a whole lot, man, that we need to talk about today, because today is Election Day, and folks are going to the polls. We've already had some reports of some problems. We're going to be making some calls about that. But we also want you to know where you can call, where you can go if you are having any problems at the polls today. And so that's why we're joined by our first guest, Ben Waxman. He's the Director of Communications for the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office. Ben, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Solomon. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem at all. So I know the DA's office handles problems on Election Day. What kind of issues should people be calling the DA's office with today on Election Day?
Well, thanks, Solomon. We, every year, every election, we do a task force that we deploy approximately 50 assistant district attorneys and about 25 DA detectives. And they are deployed, around the city to monitor and respond to any issues that occur at the polls. And they started about 7 a.m. this morning, and they'll be, obviously there through when the polls close. I just want to, before I get into kind of the issues, can I give the numbers out, and I'll do it throughout this? Okay. So
yes.
If you see something at the polls that you think is an issue, and I'll get into the kinds of issues in a second, please call us at 215-686-9641. Again, 686-9641. If for some reason that number is busy, you can try 686-9643 or 686-9644. All of those numbers will connect you to our hotline, where you'll speak to somebody and they'll be able to talk to you about what you saw or what happened, and so that we can look into if there's any issues. I think you asked a minute ago what the biggest thing that we see is. We usually get dozens of calls every election. It's a big city. There's a lot going on. Typically what we see a lot of calls about is electioneering, and that's when someone is campaigning too close to the polling booth or in the polling area, or that there's confusion with the process of assisted voting. So we generally, typically in Philadelphia, don't see a tremendous amount of really serious issues. What we tend to see is, somebody put up a sign too close where they weren't allowed to. Somebody standing inside the polling place, trying to hand a ballot to you as you're walking in to vote, and they're too close to where they're supposed to be. Those are generally the kind of things that we see.
Okay. And are those the only things that people should call the DA's office about on Election Day? Or are there other issues that they should call your office about?
There's all kinds of issues. If people see issues of what they believe is voter fraud, meaning that people who are voting who ought not be voting are, electioneering I've already talked about.
Yeah.
Criminal activity, right? So people, doing things that are illegal in or around polling places, blocking people to vote, trying to intimidate people, trying to tell people who they should vote for, not explaining to people how to use the ballot, but instructing them that they're supposed to vote for one individual or another when it's not, someone who truly needs assistance. So these are, there's a whole lot of issues that can pop up. I would say anything that people see that is preventing them from voting, that is an obstruction to them voting, those are the kind of things that we want to hear about. Anything that looks like intimidation, these are the things that we want to hear about. And if you see those things, again, I'll give just the hotline number.
Yep.
215-686-9641.
All right. That is Ben Waxman. He's a spokesman for Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner. And you call their office if you see any problems around the polling place with people electioneering, intimidating, or otherwise breaking the law. Ben, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
My pleasure, Solomon.
All right. Yep, absolutely. We'll talk to you soon. So we want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-686-68. See, I'm giving you their number. 215-634. That's our number. 8065. 215-634-8065. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD. Let's go to Carmine from South Philly on line 2. Go ahead, Carmine.
Hey, Solomon. Good morning.
Good morning.
I was very excited to find out that you were back on the show.
Thank you.
I missed it.
Thank you.
Sometimes I don't agree with you, but I always find this show very thought-provoking and engaging.
Thank you.
And I want to emphasize the fact that today is the day to send a message to our elected officials, particularly the ones that forget that they work for us.
Yeah.
Today's the day. We need to hold them accountable.
Yep.
I live in South Philadelphia, and it looks like that some of our communities just continue to be marginalized. These crime issues are absolutely disgraceful. The quality of life issues we have in our community are disgraceful. And, you know, the only time we see some of these guys are during the election cycle. They're out in full press now this week. And it's ridiculous and it's upsetting.
It is. It is. I hear you.
And I'm hoping today that we get a really, some of these primaries, not a lot of turnout. I'm hoping today that that's different. We need to send them a message. We need to get this community hooked up.
All right, Carmine, I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We appreciate you. Let's go to Antoinette from Southwest Philly on line 3. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. How are you?
Good, and you?
Oh, I'm doing fine. And I wanted to say hi to Queen Kawesa. Respect on her name. I just came back. I was number 1. And I just want people to be informed. Take your reading glasses, a magnifying glass, and take a flashlight.
I know that's right. Take a flashlight, too?
Yeah.
Well, in case you got to beat somebody down with it, what? What you going to do?
They don't have the lighting. They don't have the proper lighting.
Oh, wow.
So you can't see.
Wow. What's your... You talking about in your polling place?
Yeah.
Where is that at?
Oh, goodness. Where is it at? I'm in the 2nd district, so it's right there where the skating ring used to be, and it's the I can't think of the name of the street.
That's crazy.
The skating ring.
Okay.
Pasco.
Okay.
I can't think of the skating ring.
Okay.
I can't even think of the address because I'm still trying to wake up, but I knew I just had to get dressed and get out and vote.
Yeah, I know that's right.
Yeah, because I thought they had 12 openings for the city commissioner.
No, I think you only vote for 3.
Yeah, and then I thought, like, the common court pleas, they had 6 openings, but they only had 5 listed.
Yeah, that's supposed to be 6.
Yeah, they only had 5. And I was like, all the openings that was supposed to be listed on the board, the numbers were less than what was indicated over the radio. I'm like, well, wait a minute, because I documented the numbers that should be on the ballot. And I was like, well, wait a minute.
Well, where's your polling place? Where's your polling place? You said it's at where a skating rink was.
Yeah, I can't even think of the name. It's a 70, oh, goodness, it's a 71st and I think Pascal.
71st and Pascal? Okay.
Yeah, because it used to, I can't even think of the skating ring that used to be there. I can't even think straight because I gotta get the coffee. I just knew I had to get out because I had my list and everything with me, and the numbers of candidates that was running, and the number that should be listed during the voting, and those numbers were not listed.
All right, well, we'll check on that. We'll check on that. I want to thank you so much, Antoinette, for your call this morning to WURD Radio. We appreciate you, and we're going to try to get one more in before we go to break. Joanne from West Philly is on line 1. Go ahead, Joanne.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yesterday, I listened to The View.
Mm-hmm.
They had this gentleman on there, and he said that he asked Alan Dom how many black people did he have in his office and work with him. He said none.
Mm-hmm.
So I said that to say this. Watch who you vote for. They can pretend, but they are not what they say they are.
Mm.
This was on The View on your station. Comes on right after you.
Oh, okay.
And you can
I think that's
double-check.
called The Source.
The Source?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's The View? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no, View is on TV.
Yeah, that's on TV. I was wondering why they... Okay. But
okay.
thank you so much. We appreciate your call this morning.
Watch it. Don't vote for the wrong people.
I hear you.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. We're going to try to get this last call, and let's just bring them up. WURD. Good morning. Who's this?
Oh.
Yep, you're on live. This is Solomon.
Solomon, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm sorry, I was just going to leave something, but it was the young lady was talking about 71st and Elmwood. This is Diane calling from South Philly.
71st and Elmwood. Okay.
Yes, and I'm going to pick up my daughter this morning, Mia, to go vote, and we're voting, and I'm taking my first grandbaby in the booth also. She's 5 months.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Keeping it real, keeping it black.
I know that's right.
Have a blessed day, both of you.
You too. You too. Bye-bye.
And the rapping professor, he was awesome last night.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We are so happy for him and happy that he won that $1 million, man. So, you know.
It will come in handy, and he kept a fantastic secret for all those months.
Mm-hmm.
Have a blessed one.
All right, you too. Thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to talk with David Thornburg of the Committee of 70 about today's elections. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent black media.
On Tuesday, May 21st, vote for Carmela Jaquinto for judge. Push button number 24 for Carmela Jaquinto. Number 24 is easy to remember. That is how many hours a day Carmela Jaquinto will fight for you to ensure justice for our community and all Philadelphians. Carmela Jaquinto has more than 18 years practicing law. She has been recommended by the Philadelphia Bar Association and endorsed by the black clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity. Carmela Jaquinto has been endorsed by the Democratic City Committee, the hardworking men and women of the AFL-CIO, and the Philadelphia Building Trades. She has spent her legal career ensuring the rights of our children caught in a legal system that too often ignores them. Now Carmela Jaquinto needs our support. This Tuesday, May 21st, push button 24. That's Carmela Jaquinto, number 24 for judge.
This is Carmela Jaquinto, and I approve this message.
I am Amanda Green Hawkins, candidate for Pennsylvania Superior Court. On Tuesday, May 21st, I need your vote. In these days of confusion and distrust, I will serve with integrity and compassion. I will treat everyone with dignity and respect. For 20 years, I have protected the rights of working families and individuals and ensured all voices are heard. I am endorsed by the Pennsylvania State Democratic Committee, the Philadelphia City Committee, and the Black Clergy. I am Amanda Green Hawkins. On May 21st, vote for me. Ballot position number 3.
Paid for by Amanda for Judge.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
On May 21st, I am asking all Philadelphians to come out and vote for Fareed Abdullah for City Council at large. I understand that politics can seem unfair for the common people, but I want you to know that I am a fighter for liberation. My plan to reform education, criminal justice, and gentrification will help in creating a stable economic base for generations to come. I implore you to believe in change, but most of all, believe in yourself. I am the voice for the voiceless. Push number 81 for a new one.
Teresa Brunson, number 30, on the ballot for municipal court, is an outstanding attorney. As you know, most of the people going to court today belong to us. They are our children. Teresa has helped me pro bono. We need Teresa Brunson, number 30, for municipal court. She's good for families, small claims, stands for justice, the only African American for this seat. I'm Madeline Dunn, and I endorse Teresa Brunson for municipal court, lever number 30.
I'm Teresa Brunson, and I approve this message.
Hi, I'm Cody Anderson in support of the re-election of Philadelphia Sheriff Joel Williams. I've known Joel for over 40 years. I've watched him grow and develop from a community activist to a state representative to the sheriff. I know him to be a man of integrity, honesty, and commitment to serving the people of Philadelphia, not his own self-interest. In Joel, what you see is what you get. He's not a showboat, he's the real deal. He's making positive change in the Philadelphia Sheriff's Office. Tuesday, May 21st, vote to re-elect Democrat Sheriff Joel Williams. Push button number 53.
Paid for by Citizens for Joel Williams, and I am Joel Williams, and I approve this message.
Hello, Philadelphia. This is Omar Sabir, and I'm asking you to vote on Tuesday, May 21st. People died for our right to vote. If you want better schools, if you want reduced crime, if you want an overall better quality of life, then vote. Your vote counts. Push 35 and it'll make you feel alive. Omar Sabir for City Commissioner on Tuesday, May 21st. Paid for by Citizens for Omar Sabir.
Keeping you informed about Tuesday's election. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM WURD and 900 AM WURD, Philadelphia, independent black media. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM WURD. It is Election Day, and our very own Vincent Thompson is calling in with an update on what is going on today on Election Day. Vincent, good morning.
Good morning, Solomon. As you know, today is primary election day, and voters are heading to the polls to vote on 4 ballot questions in Philadelphia and a Democratic primary race for mayor, city council, sheriff, city commissioner, and judges, among others. Pennsylvania has a closed primary system, so only registered voters with either of the 2 major political parties can cast ballots for candidates. So if you're a Democrat, you can only vote for Democrats. If you're a Republican, you can only vote for Republicans. If you are an independent, you can vote in Philadelphia, but you'll only be able to vote on the 4 ballot questions. Now, a lot of people are trying to compare this race to last year's general election race in 2018, where 51% of registered voters in Philadelphia voted. I say don't compare it to that because that was a congressional election, and congressional elections, like presidential elections, are very sexy elections, and people get involved. If you really want to judge this primary, judge it against what happened in 2015, the last time there was a mayoral primary in Philadelphia. There were about 7 or 8 candidates, and only 27.2% of all registered voters voted in that election. Jim Kenney won that election and went on to be mayor. Now he is running for a second term. Tony Williams, Senator Anthony Williams, came in second in that race. He is running against Kenney to defeat him in the primary today, as well as City Controller Alan Bukovitz. So wondering if we're going to have a lot of voter turnout in this election, Solomon. The numbers will tell, but a lot of people are not thinking it's going to get above that 27% number that we had in the primary back in 2015.
Yeah, and that's what happens in the primary elections. They tend to be low turnout elections, and I just don't think people realize that the primary in Philadelphia, because it skews so heavily Democratic, that really is the election. What happens in the general is pretty much academic.
That's true. And I know you're going to have David Thornburg from the Committee of 70 on in just a few minutes, and he's saying that he thinks because of the national political climate and the large candidate pool, especially in the city council at large race in the Democratic side, where we have almost 30 candidates running for 5 seats, will increase voter turnout. I don't know if that's going to happen. Another thing I'm curious to see if millennials come out and vote in this general election. I mean, they did come out and vote for the district attorney race and the city controller race a couple of years ago. But a city controller race and a DA's race is a whole lot different than a mayor's race. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this election. And when I come back in the next hour, Solomon, we'll talk about the city council at large races and the sheriff's races as well. And also for people that are listening in the Philadelphia suburbs, there are races out in your suburbs as well. So if anybody who lives in Bucks, Chester, Montgomery, Delaware County have questions, they should contact their local board of elections or their county board of elections. If you're having trouble here in the city of Philadelphia, you can go to the Philadelphia City Commissioner's office, and their website is PhiladelphiaVotes. That's all one word.com.
All right. That's our own Vincent Thompson. Vince, we'll talk to you at 9.
I'll speak to you at 9, and then I'll be back on the air at 10 with my own show, Political Source, where we'll have a lot of the candidates on talking about the things that need to happen to win. Right now, it's not really any more about whether they're positions on the polls or anything. Right now, it's about getting people out to vote. We're going to talk during the 10 o'clock show.
All right. Well, we'll talk about that then. Vincent, I want to thank you so much. Let's go to David Thornburg from the Committee of 70. He is on the line. David, good morning.
Hey, Solomon, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Okay. It's a bright and sunny election day.
Yeah, no rain. So we'll see. What do you think turnout is going to look like today, David? I'm just curious.
Well, I just heard Vincent sort of steal a little of my thunder. I like to be optimistic, and so I for a couple reasons, think turnout might be at least higher than we anticipated. As he said, it was 27% 4 years ago, but I factor in a couple things. One is the political energy that's generated from Washington these days. Got a lot of folks in Philadelphia stirred up, so that's a plus. Two is this, he mentioned this, interest in growing awareness of millennial voters. I think that's what's going on as well. And then we've got this large field of at-large council candidates, the most since, I think, 1979. And all of those folks are out pounding the pavement and knocking doors and so forth. So those three things I throw in as things that will increase turnout, and there doesn't seem to be a terribly competitive mayor's race, so that's one thing that depresses expectations. But overall, I'll plunk for above average turnout.
Okay. All right. Well, the question is, will that make any difference in what happens with the results? So we'll see about that. Lot is happening around the judges now. How many judges should people be able to vote for? I know it's Superior Court, Common Pleas, and Municipal. How many candidates in each one should people be able to vote for?
You know, I'm red-faced. I'm forgetting. I literally just came from voting, and I had my numbers in front of me. I know it's maximum 2 for Superior Court,
right?
And I think for Common Pleas, it seems like it's 5.
Okay. See, I thought it was 6. I thought it was 6 for Common Pleas and Municipal.
Yeah.
Municipal, well, I have to look that up.
The good news is right there on the ballot. Because, vote for no more than whatever the number is.
Right.
But, by the way, on that, I mean, a lot of people, scratch their head as to why we elect local judges, but we just strongly encourage people to use the Bar Association recommendation. They take it really seriously. They give all the candidates a good look, and I just urge you to look at those recommendations. You can find them on our website at 70.org. That's the best way to cut through the clutter.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it now. You can actually go to 70.org. That's SEVENTY. And build your own ballot. So you put in your address, you put in your political party, and this ballot will let you know how many candidates there are, whether or not, especially for the judicial candidates, because we don't know a lot about them, whether or not they are recommended by the Bar Association. So it gives you that information on each of these candidates.
Yeah, literally puts it in the palm of your hand, and that's what I took with me into the voting booth, because there's just a lot to sort through between all the judicial candidates and all the council at large candidates, and a few ballot questions and so forth.
Yeah.
It's a busy ballot.
It is a busy ballot. So for municipal court judge, it's one candidate. For Court of Common Pleas, it looks like it's 6 candidates that you can vote for. And for Superior Court judge, there's 2 candidates that you can vote for. So I certainly encourage you to look through that website at 70.org and see, which candidates are recommended, which are not, which you might know. Because, for me, when I look at the recommendations, some of these people I know. And so, it's based on their integrity, their character, and all of these things for me as a voter.
Yeah. I mean, voting for judges is a funny thing, because we don't want them to give their opinions on how they might decide a case.
Right.
Nor can they, in terms of the standards of the legal profession. So we have to sort of fall back on the things you talked about: character, integrity, how they've conducted themselves on the campaign trail. It's a funny kind of election.
Yeah, it really is. So the other thing that we've got that people don't really know a whole lot about is these ballot questions. We've got 4 ballot questions on the ballot this time around. What are they?
Well, let's see. You're putting me to the test. But fortunately, I think I can handle this one.
Okay.
One asked whether we should make permanent in the city charter an Office of Immigrant Affairs. That exists now, but just by an executive order of the mayor, so that would make it permanent. One is essentially to give, it's almost like a survey question about how we feel about raising the minimum wage in Philadelphia.
Yep.
One is to replace all the language in the charter referring to city council to make it gender neutral. So rather than, council man, it'd be member of council. And then the 4th one,
public safety enforcement officers.
Yep. This is the proposal that would establish a new class of public safety officers to assist in traffic management and things like that. So there's the 4, yep. And we, again, have some commentary on each one of those on our website. So if you want to dig a little deeper and come to your conclusions, that's a good place to go.
All right. And, of course, the mayor's race on the Democratic side, you have Senator Anthony Hardy Williams, you have former city controller Alan Buckovitz, and current mayor Jim Kenney on the Democratic side. I believe on the Republican side, there's only one. There's Mr. Changolini. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's right. They had a little bit of a bump in the road in their endorsement process. He ended up there. So, yep.
Okay.
Lineup.
And then for city commissioner, we're voting for 2 for city commissioner. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's the way it works. Each party, in theory, could offer 2 candidates to go on to the general election. The Republicans only have 1.
Okay.
Because the minority party's only guaranteed 1 seat. But yeah, it's a large and spirited field of city commissioner candidates. This is an office that we care a lot about.
Yeah.
Although, frankly, we some time ago came to the conclusion that it shouldn't be an elected office. Be that as it may, here we are. We've got to make a choice.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of good people. I should mention, we did Facebook Live interviews with almost all of the city commissioner candidates and about 20 of the at-large council candidates. So if you go to our Facebook page, you want to see these folks talk about themselves and their plans. It's a good place to start. Sometimes it helps just to sort of eyeball people and get a sense of where they're coming from. So.
Yeah, I did a forum in South Philly with the city commissioner candidates, and it was more spirited than I thought it would be because of the controversy around these voting machines.
Yep, that is not something the current city commissioners have handled very well. And it's made more difficult because the law, it's kind of a curious twist, that the law requires them, if they're running for re-election, to actually step back from their official positions when they announce they're running for office. So they made this decision on this new voting machine, and then literally within a couple of days stepped down from their official positions.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of folks, they're very spirited activists in the community who don't agree with the decision, want to challenge the decision, want to revote, want them to cancel the procurement vote. But it's made more awkward because the city commissioners aren't actually in their official duties. So it's kind of a mess.
Yeah.
But hugely important because, I served on a statewide commission looking at election security issues, and we have a vulnerable voting machine.
Yeah.
Not because we live in an electronic world where everybody's connected to everything. And the critical thing is that new machines should have a paper trail.
Right.
Have a verified, when you leave the voting booth, you have a piece of paper that affirms who you voted for, essentially. And that's what underlies this new choice of voting machines, which, as I said, the commissioners have not handled very well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what's going on.
All right, so we'll see what happens with that. Of course, you have the sheriff's office. You have 4 people running for that on the Democratic side. And then you have the Register of Wills. It's an office we don't really talk about a whole lot. The current Register of Wills has been there, I think, for about 40 years.
Yeah. He has been, and he's an institution in Philadelphia. I mean, the Register of Wills and the Sheriff's Office, we also concluded some time ago those offices really don't need to exist. There are other parts of city government or law enforcement that could absorb those. So we're once again in this odd position where, despite the fact that we don't believe the offices that should exist, we, here are candidates, and the Registrar of Will is a Philadelphia institution. You got that right.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Go to 70.org and click on Build Your Ballot to find out more about the candidates. It is a very comprehensive list of who these candidates are, and I encourage you to certainly use that tool to your advantage. David, is there any place that people should call if they're having any kind of trouble today, if their polling places aren't working, etc.?
Yeah, well, I say to people, if you suspect criminal activity or potential intimidation or violence, don't mess around. Call 911. That's the short story. If there are problems with the machines or that kind of thing, then you can call the city commissioner's office. PhiladelphiaVotes.org is their, or .gov, I guess, is their website. And then, so those are the 2 options. If you've got potential criminal activity, don't mess around, call 911. And the other is to call the city commissioners.
All right. David Thornburg from the Committee of 70, thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Sure, my pleasure, Solomon.
All right. Talk to you soon. So, it's a whole lot, man, around this voting and the election and the voting machine. So each county, this is what happened with the voting machines. Each county in Pennsylvania is supposed to purchase new voting machines. And what happened is that the city commissioners in the city of Philadelphia decided on a voting machine that a lot of people didn't like because it had no paper backup. And given that you have Russians now meddling in our elections, given that you have people hacking voting machines, you need to have that paper backup. You need to have that paper trail so that in case something happens with the electronics, you can go to the paper and say, okay, this is what happened with this election. This is what this person voted for, etc. And we don't have that with these new machines. In addition to that, there was really no process by which they were taking RFPs. That's requests for proposals, apparently from a number of people, and they just magically came up with, we're going to get these machines from this company. And now the city controller is looking into it, investigating it, and so we'll see. But the city commissioners oversee the elections in the city of Philadelphia, and they are the ones who are responsible for ordering those new voting machines. I've had a good experience with at least one of the commissioners who are currently in office, and that's Lisa Daly, who has always been supportive when we've tried to deal with letting people know how they can register to vote. When we did voter registration campaigns, she worked with WURD on several of those several years ago. And so, we'll see what happens with the election. But the city commissioners are important because they oversee the elections. And so we are going to go to break. And on the other side of this break, we're going to continue our conversation right here on WURD.
Vital Signs, Wednesdays on Reality Check with Charles Ellison, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. right here on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Streaming live on WordRadio.com.
This is Councilwoman Maria Quiñones Sanchez. Thank you for your continued support. I'm your fighter in City Hall because our neighborhoods deserve excellent services and a voice that goes beyond divisive rhetoric and special interests. I never forget that I'm fighting for you and your family's future every day. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st, press number 85, Democrat for City Council, 7th District. When we work together, we all win. Paid for by Friends of Maria.
Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14 for Judge of the Court of Common Pleas, an African-American candidate for judge. Sherman has been fighting for justice and serving our community for over 20 years. He is endorsed by the Democratic Party and the Laborers Union on Election Day, Tuesday, May 21st. Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14, an African-American candidate for judge. And remember, there's no stopping Sherman Toppin.
Paid for by the Committee to elect Sherman Toppin for judge.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
Listen live at wordradio.com.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
Helen Gim fights for every single child in this city. I know because she fought for mine. My 2 sons attend a Philadelphia school that was supposed to close a few years back. Helen Gim stood with us to organize parents and keep our school open. When she got elected to city council, I knew Helen would get to work. Helen restored school nurses and counselors. She fought for clean water and brought music programs back to our schools. She's standing up for air conditioning and clean and safe school buildings. Helen Gim fought to end the state takeover of our schools so parents like me could have a voice in our kids' lives. She's fighting poverty with a new law protecting hourly workers. She supports a $15 minimum wage, affordable transit, and protects renters and homeowners in our city. I'm voting for Helen Gim, button number 56, because I know she gets things done.
I'm Helen Gim, number 56 on the ballot. I'm running for re-election to City Council at large as your champion for Philadelphia school kids and working families. When you vote for me, you're voting for a fighter who won't stop working for a Philadelphia for all of us. On May 21st, push button number 56 for Helen Gim. Paid for by Friends of Helen Gim.
Hi, Philadelphia. I'm Lori Dow, ballot number 18, asking for your support on May 21st for election as judge with the Court of Common Pleas. I'm from West Philadelphia, born and raised, endorsed by labor unions and the Philadelphia Bar Association. Please help me continue my work as a public servant, protecting children and strengthening families. I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st. Press number 18 for Lori Dow, judge, Court of Common Pleas.
Paid for by Friends of Lori Dow for judge.
I'm State Senator Vincent Hughes. On Election Day, May 21st,
Philadelphians have a choice to make. I'm choosing Sandra Dungy Glenn, button number 77, for City Council at Large. We can continue to be a city of the haves and have-nots, or we can choose to move in the direction of supporting working families and moving families out of poverty. I'm choosing a candidate who is fighting for families. I'm choosing Sandra Dungy Glenn. On Election Day, Tuesday, May 21st, please push button number 77 to vote for Sandra Dungy Glenn for City Council at Large.
This is Sandra Dungy Glenn, and I approve this message.
Now, a traffic update
on Word Radio.
Busy Ride continues here in Philadelphia. Report sponsored by Zell 95 southbound. That's jammed Cotman down through Girard. You can really park to the Commodore Barry northbound. You're jammed from the Walt Whitman Bridge to Allegheny. All that from an earlier accident. Schuylkill Expressway both ways, east and westbound heavy. Schuylkill westbound 8th Street through the westbound Vine heavy from 8th out through 76. Eastbound delays off the Schuylkill right through I-95. Southbound Blue Route, jam Mid-County down to 76. Again, Broome, Altamira, Swarthmore, northbound 95 to Route 1. Again, the Schuylkill both ways at a jam this morning. 295 heavy both ways into 42. 42 northbound, jam Blackwood, Clementon through 295 into Philadelphia. Ben Franklin Bridge, jam nearly the length into the city. Zelle is an easy way to send money to friends and family right from your banking app. Not sure what to get someone for their birthday? Send the money with Zelle so they can buy whatever they want. Look for Zelle in your banking app or get more info at ZellePay.com. Zelle, this is how money moves. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
You're waking up
with Word.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
All circuits are busy.
Here's what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with Word.
For the first time in 2 years, forecasters have issued their most dire warning for the risk of catastrophic tornadoes. The target parts of Texas, Panhandle, and Oklahoma, which is also marking the 6th anniversary of a tornado that pulverized the city of Moore, killing 24 people. Over 2 million people are in harm's way as the National Weather Service's Storm Prediction Center issued a threat level 5 out of 5 for violent tornadoes.
And Jay-Z and Timberland are in trouble. They're being hit with a copyright infringement lawsuit for allegedly sampling a song more than 20 years ago on 2 different tracks without the co-author and composer's permission. Musician Ernie Hines filed the suit against Jay-Z and Timberland for the 1998 song Paper Chase, which samples Hines' 1969 song Help Me Put Out the Flame in My Heart. Timberland also sampled from the song for Genuine's 1999 hit single Toe to Toe. Hines, who is 81 now, is expecting to get at least $2 million from the suit.
And some sad news. Melvin Edmonds, older brother of legendary hitmaker Kenny Babyface Edmonds and a founding member of the R&B group After 7, which rose to fame in the 90s, has passed away. He was 65. Melvin Edmonds' death was Saturday and was announced by the group just yesterday and confirmed by his son Melvin Edmonds. He had suffered a stroke in 2011 and had been in poor health, but it seemed to rebound in recent years. So just rest in peace to a great musical icon.
All right, and that's what's trending right here on Wake Up with Word. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065, and let us know where you are on any of these topics we are talking about on this morning's show. You know, one of the things that is very important to me around this primary election, and David Thornburg kind of alluded to it, I need young people out here voting, and especially young black people. And I'm saying black in particular, not people of color. I need young black people out here voting because you're the ones that's being affected by these policies. You know, when I look at the people who've been unfortunately shot and killed by police, those are young black men. Just not everybody else is us, over and over and over again. And when I look at those who have been stopped and frisked, you know, it's us over and over and over again. And not even really us, our young people, right? because I'm kind of past that age where I'm going to get stopped and frisked, where I'm going to get harassed, etc., where I'm going to get shot on the street. Like, you know, it's more likely that that's going to happen to you when you're between 18 and 40. Almost 3/4 of the shootings that happened last year in Philadelphia were people 18 to 40. 90% of those people were men. 3 out of 5 of them were black. 9 out of 10 of them were men. And it's like, you know, young black men between 18 and 40, you know, and for young black men between 18 and 25, just a 7-year span. 34% of those shot last year in Philadelphia were young black men. So young black folk, whether you're male, female, etc., you have been affected by these policies more than anybody else. If you're young and you're black and you're living in the hood, right, you are more likely to be a renter. You're just starting out, so you're renting property. Right? You're renting a place to stay. Well, once that neighborhood begins to gentrify, you're the one who's going to be put out. You're the one who's going to be displaced. You're the one who's going to have to move to a neighborhood that isn't as nice as the one that you were forced out of. You know, there are some things in place for homeowners, and all of us don't take advantage of them, but you got the LOOP program, long-time owner occupancy program. You've got the homestead exemption. You got some things that are in place that are supposed to protect homeowners, but there's not a whole lot there to protect renters, and renters tend to be young people. So when you talk about gentrification and people being forced out of their community, you're talking about young people, Kawesa. You ain't talking about people who have been established there for 20, 30 years. You know, if they move, that's their choice. You know, they might have to struggle with the tax bill as the tax bill goes up, but there are some things in place that they should be able to take advantage of. No such thing for young people who are renters. And so for me, our young people are the ones who really need to understand that this politics stuff, you're the ones being affected by it. And I would argue that you're affected by it in the way that, because they don't expect you to vote. They understand the numbers. They look at the trends. They know that even though you're trending upward over the last couple of election cycles, you still by far the lowest category, the lowest segment of voters. And when they know that, you can get took. You can get taken advantage of because they know, okay, we can do this stuff to them because they're not going to vote anyway. Kawesa, it's something that for me, it's like a mission, man. I need our young people to understand that, you know, you got to do something, whether it's voting or something else, but you have to do something because you are the ones being affected by these policies.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you. You know, and I think that, you know, as a millennial, if you don't have anyone who you want to run, or you don't have, you know, you can't work on a campaign, or, you know, things like that, you should at least try to do whatever it is that you can to make your life a little bit easier, a little bit better. And so, you know, to kind of sit on the sidelines and you're not even an active participant in the community, let alone you're not voting, none of that. Do something.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do something, and hopefully you're doing more than one thing, because one of the things that I so admire and respect about our young people is their ability to organize and protest. I so respect that, their ability to use social media in order to augment, in order to make it bigger, right, than it would be if it was just, you know, some people on the street. Like, I've watched it, I've participated in it. I've took my kids to participate in it because I think it's important for them to see that there's more than one way to skin a cat. It's important for them to see that your voice matters, right? That, you know, yeah, I'm going to show you how to vote, but I'm also going to show you how to protest. I'm going to show you how to vote, but I'm also going to show you that there's some places that we're not going to spend our money. Why? Because this is how they treated black people, and this is what happened in this place, so we're not going to spend our money there. Right, and so it's economic, it is political, but it is also activism. Like, it's all of those things together, you know. And looking at our religious communities, man, looking at our faith communities and what they can do. You got all these people together, you know, meeting in this place. What can we do in order to impact what's happening in our neighborhoods? beyond just taking up an offering? Like, beyond just praying, like, what can we do to impact the communities that we are in? So it's all of those things coming together and understanding that we have a whole lot of things that we need to be doing, that we can do, power that we are not using, and it is critical for our young people because they are the ones who are impacted by these policies. Once you get over 40, you're a whole lot less likely to be shot in the street and have your murderer walking free. But if you're 40 and under, and you're a black man in Philadelphia, you could be next. You might be next. And it's something that, we have to understand that, man. You can walk around and say it's a conspiracy and the system is rigged and all of that. Okay, well, what else you going to do? In addition to voting, what else are you going to do in order to make yourself safer? Because when I look back at the people who've been shot and killed in our community by each other and sometimes by police, they're black men. They're young black men. And for our sisters, that's your son, that's your nephew, right? That's your husband, that's your boyfriend. Like we all are connected in this. You know what I mean? And in terms of being stopped, being harassed or whatever, it doesn't just happen to black men. It also happens to black women. And so it's something that all of us, man, especially if you are young, all of us need to be really dealing with that truth. We got a guest coming up. Micah Sims is going to be joining us to talk about what is happening in our communities around the issue of voting. And Micah Sims, of course, is from the Common Cause Pennsylvania. It's a national nonpartisan advocacy organization whose goal is to create accountable government that serves the public interest. He's their executive director. He joins us now on Wake Up with Word. Micah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Solomon?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Good. Certainly glad to see you are back on WURD in the morning, and we look forward to your incredible way by which you engage the citizens and encourage them to live a healthier, prosperous, and more blessed life. So
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you. One of the things that I'm concerned about in this election cycle, especially in these primaries in the city of Philadelphia, is young voters. Because when I look at the policies, what I see is that these policies and these political decisions affect them in ways that they might not be aware of.
Sure.
And so talk about that, man, and how we work with our young people in order to hold government accountable for some of these policies.
I think your last couple of statements before I jumped on were very profound, where oftentimes it's more than voting. And so, Solomon, you've known me for a number of years, and while I really believe Election Day is important, for me, the second most important day is the day after election.
Yeah.
Where do all of these candidates who don't win, where are all of these campaign staffers and these, and I was one, strategists and advisors, where do they go then? Because the work still has to continue, not only around policy, but around how that policy impacts our community. And I think when you look at the millennial generation right now, and I have son, daughter who make up that millennial generation, they believe that they have to really take the bull by the horn. It's almost like there's a twofold there. There is, hey, we got to grab the bull by the horn and continue to work, and no matter what happens on Election Day. But then there's the other half of the millennial generation that is so frustrated by the policy and politics that for years has corrupted our communities, disenfranchised so many people, that they have literally put their hands up and said, man, I don't even want to be engaged within civic engagement.
Yeah, and I think that's what happens, man. We've got a cynicism around it. And one of the things that I find very interesting is that after the 2016 elections, when people realized that, wait a minute, Hillary Clinton won by 3 million votes, and yet Donald Trump is president, the system is rigged. I'm out. I'm not in it anymore. But I think that comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of how our system works. How do we educate ourselves about this system that we really don't learn about in school?
Yeah, I do think oftentimes we have to almost go back to the books and really understand how the political process is currently, and hear how I term it, currently structured in our country. What I appreciate about millennials more than anything else is they go, we do not have to accept this system as it is.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we can change it.
Yeah.
Which is why, Solomon, you are seeing a rise across the country to go from the Electoral College to national popular vote. Why is it that the determination on the presidency should be based on some algorithm, some equation that was established by the forefathers way back when in reality, if we use that system, we are actually disenfranchising voters. You know, I think it was Lawrence Lessig that I was at a conference, and he talked about how 95% of the time of candidates are spent within about 12 states across this country, which we would call swing districts. And watch this, 98% of their money is invested that they raise in those swing districts. And so what about the other people that really matter? And so going to national popular vote is one of those millennial movements that is really sweeping across this country that I think ultimately will find its place.
Yeah, well, you know, we hope that will happen. But until that happens, one of the things we have to realize is that all politics is local. And so today we have this primary election going on. We're going to talk about it with you on the other side of this break. I'm Solomon Jones. This is WURD, and we'll be right back.
This is Congressman Dwight Evans. We know how important it is to have leaders committed to our neighborhoods. That's why I'm backing Alan Dom. He is number 66 on the ballot, and we need to keep him on City Council fighting for us. Alan Dom is donating his salary back to our schools and is personally paying to teach computer coding and financial literacy to our children in our neighborhoods. And Alan is leading the fight to give people who have been in prison a second chance by providing job training and reentry programs. Again, this is Dwight Evans. Please join me in voting for Alan Dom for City Council at large, number 66 on the ballot. He's a champion for our neighborhoods.
Big ideas, big achievements. A better city for all of us. Vote Alan Dom for City Council.
Alan Dom, number 66.
Paid for by Dom for Council.
Be heard. Want another way to join the conversation?
Follow us on social media
Using the hashtag onWURD.
Be heard.
Stay connected to Word Radio.
Independent Black Media.
Hi, I'm Erica Almiron. I spent the last 20 years organizing our communities to fight for justice. I'm running for Philadelphia City Council at large, and I'm fighting for fully funded schools, affordable housing, and criminal justice reform. That's why I've been endorsed by over 25 organizations across our city, including Black Clergy of Philadelphia, SEIU 32BJ, and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Use your power today and vote for me, Erica Almiron, for City Council at large, button number 68. This ad was paid for by friends of Erica Almiron.
On Tuesday, May 21st, vote for Carmela Jaquinto for judge. Push button number 24 for Carmela Jaquinto. Number 24 is easy to remember. That is how many hours a day Carmela Jaquinto will fight for you to ensure justice for our community and all Philadelphians. Carmela Jaquinto has more than 18 years practicing law. She has been recommended by the Philadelphia Bar Association and endorsed by the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity. Carmela Jaquinto has been endorsed by the Democratic City Committee, the hardworking men and women of the AFL-CIO, and the Philadelphia Building Trades. She has spent her legal career ensuring the rights of our children caught in a legal system that too often ignores them. Now Carmela Jaquinto needs our support. This Tuesday, May 21st, push button 24. That's Carmela Jaquinto, number 24 for judge.
This is Carmela Jaquinto, and I approve this message.
I'm Catherine Gilmore Richardson, candidate for City Council at Large, button 67. I'm a lifelong Philadelphian, wife, mother of 3, preacher's kid, and former chief of staff to my mentor, Councilwoman Blondell Reynolds Brown. On City Council, I'll be a voice for our community, for every child in every neighborhood. On May 21st, vote Catherine Gilmore Richardson, button 67 for City Council at Large, because moms get the job done. Paid for by Vote Kathy for Philly, David Richardson, Treasurer.
Philadelphia, this is Roland Martin, and I'm partnering with the Education Media Group, the 74, to host the Is School Choice the Black Choice Town Hall event on May 29th, 2019 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Mastery Charter School's Shoemaker campus. Our goal is simple: to convene local stakeholders and help stimulate more genuine fact-based conversations about the tough education issues impacting black folks in Philadelphia. We will also hear from local and national education leaders as we debunk myths about school choice and empower participants with the resources to choose the best options for you. This event is free of charge and child care will be provided. We'll also have a partner networking fair 30 minutes before and after the event where you can learn more about additional engagement opportunities with the various organizations that will be represented. Log on to Eventbrite and search for Is School Choice the Black Choice to register for this event. We look forward to seeing you there.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD Radio, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. This hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphians organized to witness, empower, and rebuild. For more information, visit powerinterfaith.org. So we're talking with Micah Sims. He is executive director of Common Cause Pennsylvania, and we're talking about the elections. And of course, today is the primary election here in the city of Philadelphia. A number of offices are up for grabs in today's election. Which offices do you see a chance where we might have some turnover in today's election, Micah?
So I would obviously take a look at council at large. When you have 1, 2, 3, you have 2 possibilities of new people going on to city council. You've got 3 incumbents running, and then you've got, potentially most political analysts will say 2 open spots there because most feel that incumbents generally have the ability to get reelected. You've got 2 spots there. I think there are a couple of councilmatic races that will be interesting to watch. The 3rd Councilmatic District will be one to keep your eye on. But I think in general, Solomon, I would also just want to see how turnout is.
Yeah.
I want to see how people feel. This will give us a good gauge of how people feel about the city of Philadelphia and how it's operated and run by elected officials. Mm-hmm. I usually say that because if people really believe in what's already happening, you really would see probably low turnout because you would just assume the incumbents would go ahead and win. But if there is a real aggressive move to make wholehearted change in a number of areas, I think we'll see an above average turnout for this primary election in the city of Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a good day. It's not bad weather because that can affect turnout. But the thing that concerns me is that in primary elections in Philadelphia, there is generally such low turnout. You know, and you have a quarter of the people deciding who is going to lead the city going forward. What could change that in today's election?
Well, I think nothing can change today's election, but encouraging people again to listen to your program and others, and hey, let's make sure we're all getting out to vote. Make sure we're on Facebook telling people we're going out to vote. Did you? We're on social media. We're texting everybody. Make sure you get out to vote. Polls close at 8 p.m. tonight, so you still got time to do that. I think what might help us in the future may be the ability to talk about same-day registration. One of the things that we have at Common Cause advocated for is open primaries, allowing non-affiliated voters and independents to vote in the primary. Also, we can look at early voting. We are one of the few states within this country that still does not have any form of early vote. I don't understand that. We are advocates and pushing hard for those type of reforms that we know, because the data proves it, will enhance and improve voter turnout.
Mm-hmm.
So Pennsylvania's got to catch up with the rest of the country. We are the birthplace of the country, but in some instances we are far behind what the country is doing, and we need to kind of instill some of these reform movements to help improve voter turnout.
Yeah. We're talking with Micah Sims. He is the executive director of Common Cause Pennsylvania, and they are concerned with holding government accountable. So certainly voting is one way that you hold people accountable. But given that we don't have the kind of turnout that we probably need to have in elections like this, these primary elections, how else, in your view, do we hold people accountable?
I think we've got to begin to do a daily check-in with what is happening in City Hall, what is happening in Harrisburg. I guess we get enough stuff about what's happening in D.C. or the lack of things that are happening in D.C. But with all the saying all politics is local, we really got to become a citizenry that is engaged on what policies, what legislation, what ordinances are being passed in City Hall. I think we have seen an uptick on the number of people that are engaging, but there's still room for more of us to find ways to improve our society, improve our community by watching what is happening on a weekly basis down in City Hall. Other thing is we, like Common Cause, we've got to keep people accountable. Here's one of the things that bugs me, Solomon, is we get a lot of candidates that make a lot of promises during the campaign season, and then when they get elected, they do not live up to them. Mm-hmm. We need to probably start doing a little bit more with scorecards and report cards on our elected officials, so that most elected officials or political analysts will say, well, after a couple of years, you'll forget about what I'm not doing.
Right.
We don't need to. We need to be able to say every year, hey, the mayor, the sheriff, the whomever, the city commissioners got an F because of the way they handled the office, and so therefore keep that tab rolling so that when election comes in 2023, we will not forget that over the last 4 years, the sheriff or the city commissioner had an F every single year. That F means you need to go, you should seek re-election, and that we need to make change in the office.
Yeah. So what offices do you see as critical in this primary election today that we really don't pay a lot of attention to?
Well, I think you have to pay attention to the city commissioner's office. The city commissioner is really in charge of maintaining, enhancing the election process, voter registration within the city of Philadelphia. I think it's critical. We just, as people have been following the news, the recent acquisition or the recent move to acquire new voting machines. That is a critical office within the city of Philadelphia. And then obviously one that has gotten notoriety not only in the city but across the state has been the sheriff's office. It has, found its way within a sea of corruption and issues over the last number of decades. At what point in time do you clean up that office? I don't think it's not about the individual. It's about really taking some time and maybe cleaning up the office. So you've got the sheriff's department, you've got city commissioner. I think those are critical offices that we really have to pay critical attention to, and I hope the voters out there are really getting educated on who the choices are, and they're making the right choices based upon their values and perspectives and the way they see the city ought to be moving forward, not backwards. Obviously, mayor and city council always gets all of the glitz, but I think this is really honestly, Solomon, this is like drafting a team.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to put a good team out there in the city of Philadelphia so that we can move this city forward. I think one of the things that frustrates me as a Philadelphian born and raised, West Philadelphia born and raised on the playground, all that stuff, went to church, you know me, and up in the church preaching, that where is the vision? Like, where is the large vision for the city of Philadelphia?
Right.
When I talk to people in New York or Chicago or L.A., Dallas or Houston, Atlanta, if you will, Charlotte, incredible vision for what the city will look like in the next 5 years, 10 years. Where's the big vision for the city of Philadelphia that will move us from being the sixth back up to the top three? That's what I'm looking for. Those are the type of leaders that I think millennials are looking for. I actually think that's the kind of leadership that all people in the city of Philadelphia are looking for.
We're talking with Micah Sims. He is the executive director of Common Cause Pennsylvania. One of the things that I think we need to pay close attention to is some of the labels that are put on policies. And here's what I mean. There are policies that are termed as progressive that we might not agree with in the black community, or might not be of great benefit to the black community, or might leave out the black community. And so a lot of times we hear certain buzzwords and we think, oh, well, that's great for us, but that's not always the case.
Yeah. I think one of those, it's interesting, talking to a reporter last week, I think one of those pieces of reform that we are analyzing at Common Cause is ranked choice voting. Often we have seen in certain areas how top two or ranked choice in some ways disenfranchises communities of color. Because now all of a sudden you're able to literally kind of knock off the interest of the people by floating so many people in a primary that the interest of the voters is diminished, and the concerns of the political machine or the political will really jumps to the top. And so how do we address that? So we're doing some analysis on that. I want to make sure before we have a real robust conversation about top two or ranked choice in Pennsylvania and in Philadelphia, we really think about that and how it really impacts. When you've got a heavy minority and growing minority population within the city, we've got to be willing to do that. So I think ranked choice is one of those things that we have to keep an eye on, and the way it may impact the city of Philadelphia.
Now, did they use that in the last Chicago mayoral election? Which election did they use that in on a national level where they were able to knock out some folks and coalesce around one person? Yeah,
you see that happening a lot in California because there are some localities that have passed ranked choice or top two. You see it a little bit in New York. We have seen it in Illinois as well. It's for all the political strategists, you gotta love it. But in some ways, there may be some ways that it disenfranchises people of color. And again, as you illustrated and talked about earlier, we've got to do a little bit more educating in between the goalposts. By that I mean between the May primary and the November general election. We have got to do a much better job of educating our people, not only on the positions that are up for election, but particularly the policies that come from those positions that could have impact for generations to come. Just a quick example. We're going to elect judges today. I used to, and many people know I worked on the president's reelection in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in 2012, and I would go around and say this: you are more likely to see a judge than you are to see the president of the United States. Get educated on judges that have the type of temperament and the type of perspective and values that are going to be beneficial to how criminal justice is implemented in the city of Philadelphia and across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So for me, that's part of that education piece. I want to vote for president, and we're going to come out in 2020 and act like, everything's on the line.
That's right.
And to some degree it is.
That's right.
But there is just as much on the line right now on May 21st because we're electing judges to the bench. You are absolutely right. You can learn more about those judicial candidates at 70.org. They have a little profile on each one. You can see their faces. You can know. And a lot of times, I'm just going to keep it real. A lot of times we vote for judges based on the fact that they're black. Oh, there's a black face. All right. They might, we got to get beyond that too. Yeah, I think we do. But let me push back a little bit. I'm one who has run campaigns, primarily African-American lawyers and judges who have wanted to, I think it is important that we have people that look like us when we walk into the courtroom, no matter who we are. I remember Danielle would say this all the time. No matter who you are, when you go into court, it's going to be a rough day. And so being able to see someone who looks like me in a black robe is important. And so making sure that we are electing qualified judges is critical. And there are some qualified African-American judges, judicial candidates out there. They oftentimes don't get the press, don't get the endorsements because of the structure by which oftentimes we see how the political machine operates. But I believe this is a time where we can create some equity in the judicial system by bringing on people who are very similar to the demographic that they serve.
As long as they not Clarence Thomas, I'm with you.
Man,
I'm with you. That's why I say that, because I think about him.
There is always an exception to the rule. Good Lord.
I hear you, Micah. That is Micah Sims. He is the executive director of Common Cause Pennsylvania. They are an organization that works to create accountable government that serves the public interest. Micah, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning on Word.
Thank you for having us on. Again, we want to encourage everybody, please get out there and vote today. Polls are open until 8 p.m. If you have any problems at any polling locations, 866 Our Vote is the National Election Protection Hotline. Please use that hotline if anything goes on. Quick shout out to all the AMEs who are in annual conference this week. Quick shout out to Bishop Ingram and Dr. Jessica. We all heading to St. Matthew for annual conference this week. Solomon, you know you need to stop by, right?
I know that's right. I'm going to stop by. All right, man. We appreciate you.
Talk to you, man.
All right, you too. This hour is brought to you by Power. Philadelphians organize to witness, empower, and rebuild. For more information, visit powerinterfaith.org. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters,
Don't miss The Source
weekdays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on Word Radio.
WordRadio.com and the Word Radio app.
Anthony Kyriakakis is the fair voice we need on the Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas. As a defense attorney, Anthony volunteered for President Obama's Clemency Project. He has fought to end racial inequities in our justice system. Now, Anthony is running for judge. He's endorsed by the Democratic Party and received the Philadelphia Bar Association's highest rating. On May 21st, push button number 19 to vote for Democrat Anthony Kyriakakis. Paid for by Anthony Kyriakakis for judge.
This is Anthony Kyriakakis, and I approve this message.
Hello, my name is Billy Thompson, and I'm number 63 for City Council at Large. For the past 20 years, I've been a servant and an advocate for the youth and seniors of Philadelphia. I have been endorsed by the Returning Citizens for Better Philadelphia, the Black Clergy of Philadelphia and vicinity, and Senator Anthony Hardy Williams. We all know that our city needs change, and I'm asking you to press number 63 for Billy T on May 21st. God bless you, and God bless Philadelphia. Paid for by Friends of Billy Thompson, Treasurer Albert Davis Jr.
This is Councilwoman Maria Quiñones Sanchez. Thank you for your continued support. I'm your fighter in City Hall because our neighborhoods deserve excellent services and a voice that goes beyond divisive rhetoric and special interests. I never forget that I'm fighting for you and your family's future every day. I ask for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st. Press number 85, Democrat for City Council, 7th District. When we work together, we all win. Paid for by Friends of Maria.
Who is Jock Wambush?
He's a family man.
He's a man of his word. He always has our back. So when elected as Register of Wills, our dad will have your back too.
On Election Day, join us. Push button 48, Jacques Wambush, Register of Wills.
Paid for by friends and family of Jock Wambush.
This is Jacques Wambush, and I approve this message.
I am Amanda Green Hawkins, candidate for Pennsylvania Superior Court. On Tuesday, May 21st, I need your vote. In these days of confusion and distrust, I will serve with integrity and compassion. I will treat everyone with dignity and respect. For 20 years, I have protected the rights of working families and individuals and ensured all voices are heard. I am endorsed by the Pennsylvania State Democratic Committee, the Philadelphia City Committee, and the Black Clergy. I am Amanda Green Hawkins. On May 21st, vote for me, ballot position number 3.
Paid for by Amanda for Judge.
This is Marion Tasco asking you to vote Green first on May 21st. In his first term, Derek Green has worked hard to create opportunities for all Philadelphians, and he will continue to fight for our economy and our schools. Derek Green has the experience, leadership, and vision to move Philadelphia forward. Join me in pushing button 78 on May 21st to re-elect Councilmember Derek Green.
Paid for by the Green Fund.
This is Cody Anderson, and on May 21st, push button 15, Kateria McCabe for Common Pleas Court Judge. She's been a lawyer almost 30 years and has a heart for people. Kateria is active in the community, an Army veteran, and fights for the rights of seniors. On May 21st, push button 15 for my friend, Democrat Kateria McCabe for Judge.
This is Kateria McCabe, button 15. I approve this message.
Hi, I'm Thera Martin for Democratic City Council at Large candidate Bobby Curry, a diehard WURD listener and forward member. Democrats in Philadelphia are coming together for change, and Bobby Curry says change starts with him. Bobby Curry opposes tax abatements, soda taxes, and cigarette taxes. He believes in fairness in school funding, youth job programs year-round, affordable housing, and a basic discount system on real estate and employment taxes for low-income senior citizens. May 21st, vote for change and push button number 70 for Bobby Curry.
This is Bobby Curry, and I approve this message.
Hi, this is Sandra Dungy Glenn, Democratic candidate for City Council at Large on May 21st. You know me from WURD and my service on the school board and SRC. I'm running because Philadelphia is a city of haves and have-nots. We must do more to move families out of poverty and invest in people over property or profits. I hope to be the public servant to work with you, for you, and be available to you. Push number 77 for Sandra Dungy Glenn, City Council at Large. Paid for by Philly for Sandra Dungy Glenn, Trent Pettis, Treasurer.
Keeping you informed about Tuesday's election. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM WURD and 900 AM WURD, Philadelphia, independent black media. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones, right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM WURD. Before we get to Roxanne Jones, we got a quick update with what's going on the streets with voting today on Election Day with Vincent Thompson. Vince, what's going on?
Hey, Solomon, the big races in Philadelphia are the City Council at Large primary. There's 28 candidates that are running for the Democratic at Large City Council primary. It's the most since 1979. Registered Democrats can vote for up to 5 candidates. There are Democratic incumbents Helen Gim, Alan Dom, and Derek Green. They're fighting for re-election in this primary. Blondell Reynolds Brown and William Greenlee, the current at-large members, they are not running for re-election. And I expected to see some different ballots throughout the city supporting different candidates, and I've seen some. This came through Curtis Jones's district, the 4th district, and he has a ballot in which only one of the current council incumbents are on the slate, Derek Green. So you're going to see a lot of that ballot cutting throughout the city. There's also 5 people that you can vote for the Republican side for at-large. David O. and Al Tautenberg are trying to win re-election. I think they'll be one of the 5 people that will win election today, but it's going to be interesting to see if they end up as one of the top 7 in November. So that's what's happening on the streets. Vince Thompson reporting live from West Philadelphia.
All right, and of course you can join Vince. He's going to be on at 10 today with more election coverage. Make sure you stay tuned and keep it locked to 900 AM WURD. Our next guest is Roxanne Jones. She's a former VP at ESPN. She's a CNN opinion writer, Emmy-nominated producer, co-author of Say It Loud, an illustrated history of the black athlete, and CEO of the Push Marketing Group, a media strategy firm. Good morning, Roxanne. How are you?
Good morning, Solomon. Great Election Day coverage.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We're trying to get our people out to vote, man. Our people have to understand these policies.
Listen, they affect us directly. And directly. Focus on young people.
That's right. That's right. It's got to be about them.
It's got to be about that. You know, you made me think this morning as I was listening to you that my father was murdered on Philly streets during the Rizzo years. And so that, you know, I always tied that to the politics in the city. We know how Rizzo kind of governed over the city and what police looked like during those years.
That's right.
And so that compelled me to have more of an interest in politics. And I was just a kid in grade school. So I think there's always a direct connection to what is happening on the streets and policies that impact us in our own neighborhoods and in our lives, and the voting, you know, how we vote. in who listens to us or who doesn't listen to us.
That's
so
right.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you, Roxanne.
We gotta connect the dots.
Yeah, we do. We absolutely do. And those local elections, critically important. But there's some stuff going on nationally too. And since we last spoke, Alabama has passed a ban on abortion that would give life sentences to doctors who perform the procedure. We've talked about it on this show from a legal perspective. What do you think about it from a black woman's perspective?
I don't even think we have enough time, but in general, I feel like it's such a step backward, and it feels like the ultimate example of white male supremacy. Because that supremacy, if we look back at slavery or colonialism or whatever, has always been about dictating everything that happens, who lives, who dies, who is like how the world works. And certainly in America, that's been about dictating black women's bodies. Always, raping us. Do we live? Do we die? Do you kill our children? Do you kill our husbands? Do you take away all of our rights? And we still experience that now. And so for me, it's very personal because it is white men ultimately saying that we will decide everything. We will decide how your bodies are political, who lives, who dies, who has the right to do what. And they're mostly, what they're deciding is, affects poor women, whether they're black or white. We're always more impacted, but it affects poor women because for white women or women who have insurance, abortion isn't even called abortion. You go to your doctor, it's called a DNC. And you don't need, it's private, you're in a private room. You don't walk through Planned Parenthood or protesters calling you evil and being radical. And so those women, just as they were during Victorian days when all the delicate white women would just go away for a few months and get rid of their fetuses, those women will keep living the way they're living. And so, again, I think no matter how you feel, for me, this is a personal issue and not a religious issue. It's a personal issue between you and your family and your God. And, I think no matter how you feel about the issue, we get in trouble consistently, historically, in this country when we think that God and government go together. And I say that as a Christian. But God and government sanction slavery and Jim Crow and segregation in schools and economic disparities because the people who, when we say God, everybody's God is different. God is sanctioning children being locked up in cages and, immigrants, sanctioning, belittling the two Muslim congresswomen that we have and treating them as less than human, less deserving. And so I think that we have to separate the two. That's one of the tenets of democracy. And I don't think our country has been able to do that. And it's something that is a feel-good kind of, people talking about whether they're Christian politicians, quoting the Bible, misreading the Bible, misinterpreting the Bible, or giving their interpretation of what they think is Christian, as in God selected Trump. That might make you feel good, but we should always be nervous, especially as black people. We should always resist that. Because, God and the government has not served us.
One of the interesting things to me as somebody who reads his Bible for himself, and sits under some good teaching about the Bible is that, you have a lot of folks who will try to manipulate and try to be very selective about what they quote without putting it in context and try to use that to manipulate folks. And for me, when I look at that, I'm like, okay, God is not pleased. Let me get away from you. Because something get ready to happen to you because of your trying to manipulate, people's most sacred beliefs for your own agenda. And that has happened a lot in this country and beyond.
Right. It has. And that's, I look at it, I have respect for all religions. And I think that the first thing that I admit humbly is that I have never met a person who understands fully what the Bible means or what God intended through his words. We're all trying to figure that out. And we might all see it differently based on our culture, based on our experiences. But it's kind of a work in progress, as we all are. That one thing is clear. And so if we have a government that continuously justifies atrocities and politicizing women's bodies and the bodies of black men, as in it's okay to kill them dead in the street, for the government to kill them in the street, black men and women. Our bodies are constantly politicized, and we never win when that happens, men or women. And so that's how I see these abortion laws. And I think that, we have to stand up and speak about this. We have to resist it, and we have to vote. And we have to vote not based on somebody who Trump went to church a few times and then everybody said he was a Christian. Like, I just think we get confused when we're not looking at specific policy and common sense, and we put too much emotion into who we're voting for, like it's a popularity contest, or, just taking it a little bit too far, like be kind to everybody, like also use your common sense. We do have, God gave us common sense, gave us intellect, gave us the ability to read and examine, use some of those things and know your history, know our history. And history doesn't mean, like you said, what happened 50 years ago, who died. History means what happened last night.
Yeah, yeah.
What happened last night in your neighborhood, on your street, on your block, in your family.
That's real.
History. That's our history.
That's real. Let's talk about something else that's happening. Speaking of government and what's happening on the national stage. So the White House has instructed former White House counsel Don McGahn not to testify before Congress. And to your point, I'm wondering how the government can work if there are no checks and balances between the legislative and executive branches. What are the future implications if this is allowed to go on, Roxanne? What do you think?
Well, a lot of people are writing, a lot of foreign policy thinkers are really examining now whether this idea of our liberal democracy, not just here, but in Britain, for example, where Brexit, they've fallen apart, whether it's a fail, whether democracy has failed, because it's based on personalities or the two-party system, which is always an us or them. And I think we've lost the ability, certainly here in Congress. I mean, if they have a million reasons to go for impeachment, right? The only reason they will not go for impeachment is because it's a political potato, right? If we decide to vote to impeach now, will we lose elections in 2020? Well, that really has nothing to do with the law. And so I think that we have seen during the Trump years and before kind of this erosion of the idea of democracy. Right, it's not working. We're failing in democracy, and that also means things like not protecting all of your citizens. Black people from being murdered by police.
Yeah.
Women from being, full citizens, deserving of equal pay and equal rights. Those things are a failure in the very romantic idea of democracy. And so I think that we are, I'm reading now about, I like history books. I'm reading about World War I and World War II and the rise of Nazism. And one of the things, we can look at slavery as well in our own country, one of the first failures of the idea of democracy is normalizing all of these injustices.
Right.
So normalizing happens in our own homes when we say, well, black people are nice, but, God, said they're not as equal to us. That's normalizing slavery. Or when Hitler started putting up signs in Germany just saying Jews were not allowed on a park bench in a restaurant, same here, color's not allowed. We normalized that. People went in anyway. And so those small things that we think are small acts that are done by all of us, normalizing, I don't care if the sign says gay people are not allowed. I'm not going in because they aren't American citizens. And so eroding somebody's right as under the Constitution, which we know we had problems with that to begin with, as it was laid out. But for me, that's not democracy. It's just not. And so I think that we are watching our democracy fail. The world is watching it. And so when we are in chaos, whether it's in the United States, watching our Congress and watching this president who is unorganized and a liar and just not at all an upstanding citizen, or representation of democracy even, or we see what happened to Theresa May in Britain. Countries like China and Cuba and North Korea, who have always said that democracy will fail because it's based on capitalism, right? It's based on capitalism, and it's based on this idea that we are better than everybody else because we believe in God. So you don't have that in communism. You don't have that. You don't have capitalism, and you don't have this infusion of who's ever leading their religious principles. You don't have that. And so one of the things, that I saw in Cuba that I was really kind of taken aback by at first, but then I thought, wow, this is pretty good, is that there's no issue about when I was talking to Fidel Castro's niece, and she told me how she lobbied for women's rights, and her mother had, and for LGBT rights, and for abortion rights. She wasn't talking about it as a religious issue. It was a health issue for her, for them, for generations. It had been an issue of health and safety. They have health care for everybody, and so let's save lives. That's how she talked about it. And we don't get a chance to even have those conversations under the way that we've set our government up now, because we've allowed kind of hysterical emotionalism to take over to keep people oppressed, because the people with money are never following the same God.
Yeah, or the same rules. They don't follow the same rules. Like the laws don't apply to them in the same way.
Right, and I say the same God a little bit facetiously, because when they talk about God, they're not talking about, they're not living by the principles that they are demanding everybody else live by. Under their religion. So I think that we're watching slowly by slowly, because we can't see the big picture when you're right in the mix, right? But our democracy is failing on many levels. And I think it will be up to us, up to voting for your city council. I like the infusion of 28 candidates, 23 for president, because that's the only way we can kind of knock down the big money, all white men privilege that's invaded our democracy. We have to, in droves, say that we want a piece of this government, that we want a voice, that we will be heard, whether we've got 10 cents or $10 million, that we have a right to be heard. And so I'm excited and hopeful that all of the new voices that we see running for office, who never have before, all of the black and brown faces, all of the women, that's really the only hope we have to save our democracy, because that is the ultimate sign that a democracy is working, when people from all walks of life want to participate.
And have a voice in it. That's Roxanne Jones. She's a former VP at ESPN. She's a CNN opinion writer, Emmy-nominated producer, co-author of Say It Loud, an illustrated history of the black athlete, and CEO of the Push Marketing Group, a media strategy firm. Roxanne, thanks so much.
Thank you, Solomon. Have a great day. All
right, you too. We're going to go to break, and on the other side, we're going to take your calls at 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Listen to Word Radio on the go with the Word Radio app. Search for WURD in your favorite app store today and take us with you wherever you go. Stay connected to Word Radio, independent black media.
Hi, I'm Erica Almiron. I spent the last 20 years organizing our communities to fight for justice. I'm running for Philadelphia City Council at large, and I'm fighting for fully funded schools, affordable housing, and criminal justice reform. That's why I've been endorsed by over 25 organizations across our city, including Black Clergy of Philadelphia, SEIU 32BJ, and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Use your power today and vote for me, Erica Almiron, for City Council at large, button number 68. This ad was paid for by friends of Erica Almiron.
I'm supporting City Councilwoman Janie Blackwell for re-election in the 3rd District. I'm proud of the work she's done already. Here's what she's done lately. Mount Vernon Manor, Mantua Square, $1.2 million for renovations at Miles Mack Rec Center, $17 million for Lucian Blackwell Rec Center, $15 million for King Sessing Rec Center, and introduced Parking Authority Amnesty Bill to bring relief to residents with old parking ticks, and much more. May 21st, push button 84 for Janie Blackwell.
I'm Janie Blackwell, and I authorize this commercial. Stanley L. Straughter, Treasurer.
On May 21st, elect Dennis Lee for City Commissioner, former Chief Deputy City Commissioner who fought against the state voter ID law. As City Commissioner, he will focus on voter education, voter registration, and voter participation in order to guarantee access to free and fair elections. Vote for Dennis Lee for City Commissioner, May 21st, paid for by Citizens for Dennis Lee, Miller Parker, Treasurer.
WordRadio.com.
The Kimmel Center for the Performing Arts presents the Jazz Orchestra of Philadelphia. featuring jazz organist Joey DeFrancesco. Saturday, June 1st at 8 p.m. in Verizon Hall. Arguably the greatest jazz organist alive, DeFrancesco's music embodies the traditional art form infused with a distinct modern approach. Just part of what makes his music unmistakably his own. One performance only. Tickets and additional information at kimmelcenter.org.
Hi, I'm Cody Anderson in support of the re-election of Philadelphia Sheriff Joel Williams. I've known Joel for over 40 years. I've watched him grow and develop from a community activist to a state representative to the sheriff. I know him to be a man of integrity, honesty, and commitment to serving the people of Philadelphia, not his own self-interest. In Joel, what you see is what you get. He's not a showboat, he's the real deal. He's making positive change in the Philadelphia Sheriff's Office. Tuesday, May 21st, vote to re-elect Democrat Sheriff Joel Williams. Push button number 53.
Paid for by Citizens for Joel Williams, and I am Joel Williams, and I approve this message.
1 in every 4 of us can't make ends meet. We can keep pre-K for our children and still get rid of that ridiculous soda tax. Drug injection sites are not safe, and someone gets killed almost every day in Philadelphia. From poverty to potholes, we can do better. I am Anthony Hardy Williams, and I have been listening to you.
We can move Philadelphia forward together. Vote Anthony Hardy Williams for mayor. Paid for by Williams for mayor.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve our schools. It's time for new leadership in West and Southwest Philly.
Paid for by Jamie for West Philly.
Keeping you informed about Tuesday's election. This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM WURD and 900 AM WURD, Philadelphia, independent black media. It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD. And we're taking your calls this election day at 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation. Let's go to Carol from South Philly on line 1. Good morning, Carol.
God loves you. I'm glad you're still alive.
Oh, thank you. God love you, too.
Thank you. I was reading a paper that says almost half of all African-American babies in Philadelphia are aborted. And then it says, why? Why? And then on the other side it says black genocide. Since 1973, when abortion was legalized, abortion has killed over 15 million black babies. The number of deaths of black persons from all other causes combined is 8 million. United States Center of Disease Control. Black women constitute only 14% of the female population. Age 15 is at 2 or through 44. Has like a line there, 15. Then it's like a little line, and then it says 44 in the United States. But they underwent approximately 38% of the abortions nationwide. For every
well, let me ask you this, because I hear you reading data. So tell me what you feel about this.
I wanted to know, well, if it's true. I'm reading it, but I wasn't certain if it was true. So then it says here, sources, Margaret Sanger, The Pivot, Civilization, New York, Britannos, 1922, Margaret Sanger, Birth Control Review, control, history of birth control.
Yeah, that's a lot of information. I'm trying to see what do you feel about it? What is it that you want to talk about concerning that information?
Well, I don't. I know that abortion is murder, and I don't want anyone to kill their baby. Some people are very upset, but they can raise their child. They still maybe they can't be a mother, and they need people to encourage them.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that they need, because a lot of people say that they're pro-life, and a lot of people are pro-birth, right? And I heard my pastor say this, and I thought it was very profound. You want people to have the babies, right? And I think all of us, certainly want people, at least I do. We want babies to have a chance at life, but then once the baby is born, who's going to take care of that baby? Who is going to provide for that baby? Who is going to, as a public, say, we're going to put some money aside for the mothers that might not be able to afford to take care of these babies? We're going to put some money aside for psychiatric care for the mothers who had these babies as a result of rape and incest. We're going to put some money aside to make sure that that life, once that life comes into the world, actually has a chance. And I think for me, that's the issue. I think certainly we want to give every baby a chance to live. But once the baby's here, then everybody kind of turn away and they don't care anymore. That's my issue, that we need to make sure that we are actually willing to help take care of these babies that we wanted to be here so bad if the mother can.
Thank you. I'm glad you raised your children. You know what? People can adopt them.
Yeah, but that's not happening, especially for children of color. You got black kids that end up in foster care for their whole lives. They age out of the system and they just let them go. I hosted the Juvenile Law Center Awards a couple weeks ago, and that was one of the issues they were talking about, that you have children of color in foster care who age out of that system. They had been through all kind of trauma in that system because you got people taking care of them just for the money, or people who take them in and don't love them or abuse them or whatever, and they age out of that system and nobody take care of them. So I think certainly we want to make sure every mother and every baby has a chance. But beyond that, like, what are we going to do? Okay, once the baby is born, we want the baby here so bad. What are we doing to take care of them?
God bless you.
God bless you, too. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. A lot of times we got all of these systems that are in place that are supposed to be taking care of these babies, and you got the same people who say everybody need to have these babies who want to then cut WIC. The same people who say everybody need to have these babies who then want to cut food stamps. These same people who say everybody need to have these babies who, when the babies are killed in the street by the cops, they deserve that because they should have followed orders, right? Those same people who don't want to put money into education because, y'all should have enough money to send your kid to private school. Like, I think certainly we want to make sure that everybody has a chance to live. But, I'm of the belief that we should have life and life more abundantly, right? And so that spiritual life, that's physical life, that's economic life, that's taking care of people who, if we really support life, then we need to support it all the way through and not just at the moment of conception. That's my view. But I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. I agree with Carol. I think that everybody should have a chance at life. But if that is the stance we're going to take as a society, then we need to be willing to take care of those babies once they get here. Jim from Southwest is on line 3. Go ahead, Jim.
Morning, young fella.
How you doing?
I got up and I did my due diligence.
All right now.
Now, listen carefully.
Okay.
I don't care what the politicians say. They could pay anybody they want to get on here and talk to me. I'm going to do what I think is best for me.
I hear you.
It's all about what have you done for me lately.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I demonstrated today. But I made myself get up and go.
Okay.
Now, I heard a commercial on here about a boy, DeFrancisco or whatever, from Delaware County.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into that boy out there in Arizona. He and his dad was playing music out there at the VFW. I never will forget it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It shocked me because we're from Delaware County playing that kind of music. And I couldn't believe it, man.
Okay.
The boy's good. The boy's good.
So what were they playing? What kind of music were they playing?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
His dad worked out at onWURD, and so did I. And, you know, I was just impressed. And I've been impressed for years with the boy. I haven't heard him since I've been back here. But he's good. Yeah, check him out.
All right. Sounds good to me.
I'm glad you take care of yourself.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Jim. We appreciate your call this morning.
Take care.
All right. You too. Let's go back to the phone lines and talk to Brian from Germantown on line 1. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, hi. Common?
Yes.
Yes. You know, I heard you with that lady.
Yes.
Very religious, and she was dodging those questions that you were asking. At the end of the conversation, all she can say is God bless. But, you know, we all were raised in, as a black society, in the Christian faith, somewhat more than others. And, you know, and if you do read the Bible tells you that you know, your belief, if you believe that you know, I just lose my train of thought. You know, that we should not try to implement our religion in law. You know,
where does it say that at?
Those who
I missed that part, but go ahead. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, I'm actually trying to remember what I was going to say. I was so excited getting on the phone, but so we as so-called Christians try to implement our religion. What the Bible says is our faith. You know, I just lost my train of thought.
That's all right. That's all right. You know, for me, you know, the Great Commission is that we should go and make disciples, right? That we should go and make believers. That you know, and that should be in every aspect of our lives. That is what we should be doing as believers. If you believe as I do in my faith, and certainly people have other faith traditions and they believe what they believe, and I respect it. But for me, that is the primary mission of my faith. In terms of what we are commanded to do, we're supposed to love our God with all our heart and all our soul and all our mind. And the second commandment is to love our neighbors as ourselves. And for me, that serves me well. That if I love God, then I need to love those who are created in his image, whether they black or white or yellow or whatever. I need to love them. And love is not always, you know, this touchy-feely thing. Sometimes love is I got to tighten you up because I love you. You know what I mean? I had that kind of conversation with my son the other day. You know, I had to kind of go in on him because I love him, because I don't want anybody else to do it out of something that is not love. And so, you know, I think that if we do those things, then we'll be all right. But if we're operating out of hate, if we're operating out of self-interest, if we're operating out of our own selfish ambitions, then that's where we go wrong. You know what I mean, Brian?
I do. Exactly, I do. But I'm getting back. But it also said what the law couldn't do because the law was weak in the flesh. God sent love into the world. So as Christians, you're supposed to love that woman so she would not sin. Love that child but you can't tell her she can't sin. We can't stop sin. We can't implement laws to stop sin. And we have people in Congress, the senators, right now, the president, you know. So we can't, and everybody is not Christian.
Yeah, and I understand that too.
Don't believe in the laws of Mosaic law.
Yeah, I understand that too, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WRD. I didn't expect to get into a religious discussion today, but I think, you know, for me the bottom line is this, and in my belief system, it is, you know, you love your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind, and then the second command is to love your neighbor as yourself. If you do those two things, then you shouldn't have a whole lot of problems around everything else, right? Because I think some of the stuff that folk do and say that they doing it in the name of God, no, you doing it for yourself. You doing it so you can be in charge. You doing it to uphold white supremacy. You doing it out of your own selfish interest. It ain't got nothing to do with God. You know what I mean? And so when we have these discussions, man, we need to be keeping that in mind and understanding that not everybody who says, Lord, Lord, you know, at the end of the day, God going to be like, yo, get away from me. I ain't never know you. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. Let's go to Tony Dan from Mount Airy on line 3. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tony.
WURD family, how everybody doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Real good, real good. I just wanted to add for us to not only recognize, but I'm sure that everybody knows, but an important part of our voting strategies in our community is for when we go out to vote as adults, take your kids with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My mom has worked the polls for over 30 years now, and not only in as much as I understand the meaningful contribution that my vote has and the history behind it, but also I understand that a reason why I feel so committed to it is I'm familiar with the process.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I know that standing in line, you go in there and you hit certain switches and you leave out and you say hi to people in your community and stuff like that.
Right.
And you keep moving, right? But a lot of times, people who are unfamiliar with the process don't want to make themselves familiar with the process. And that can be something that can be avoided by just, if you go in the morning or in the evening, taking your 6-year-old in there with you and standing in the booth and say, hey, you know what, push this for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I wanted to say.
I hear you, man. I did that with my son. I posted the video too. I'm gonna repost it on WURD's page. I did that when my son was 4, and took him in to vote for Barack Obama. I said, you know what this means? This means one day you could be president too. We're gonna go to break, and on the other side, we're gonna continue our conversation right here on WURD. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Brothers and sisters!
Don't miss The Source.
Weekdays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
on WURD Radio.
WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
As a mom of 2 young boys in Philadelphia, I worry constantly about not only their education, but their safety. Each day on the news, I hear about countless young people lost to gun violence. That's why on May 21st, I'm voting for Isaiah Thomas for City Council at large. Isaiah Thomas has the background, experience, and innovative ideas to improve the lives of young people and all Philadelphians. So remember to push button number 71 and vote Isaiah Thomas for City Council at large.
Paid for by Citizens for Isaiah Thomas.
Anthony Kyriakakis is the fair voice we need on the Philadelphia Court of Common Pleas. As a defense attorney, Anthony volunteered for President Obama's Clemency Project. He has fought to end racial inequities in our justice system. Now, Anthony is running for judge. He's endorsed by the Democratic Party and received the Philadelphia Bar Association's highest rating. On May 21st, push button number 19 to vote for Democrat Anthony Kyriakakis. Paid for by Anthony Kyriakakis for judge.
This is Anthony Kyriakakis, and I approve this message.
Helen Gim fights for every single child in this city. I know because she fought for mine. My 2 sons attend a Philadelphia school that was supposed to close a few years back. Helen Gim stood with us to organize parents and keep our school open. When she got elected to city council, I knew Helen would get to work. Helen restored school nurses and counselors. She fought for clean water and brought music programs back to our schools. She's standing up for air conditioning and clean and safe school buildings. Helen Gim fought to end the state takeover of our schools so parents like me could have a voice in our kids' lives. She's fighting poverty with a new law protecting hourly workers. She supports a $15 minimum wage, affordable transit, and protects renters and homeowners in our city. I'm voting for Helen Gim, button number 56, because I know she gets things done.
I'm Helen Gim, number 56 on the ballot. I'm running for re-election to City Council at large as your champion for Philadelphia school kids and working families. When you vote for me, you're voting for a fighter who won't stop working for Philadelphia for all of us. On May 21st, push button number 56 for Helen Gim. Paid for by Friends of Helen Gim.
Support independent black media and join the Forward movement now at 215-425-7875.
Or visit WURDradio.com.
Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14 for Judge of the Court of Common Pleas. An African-American candidate for judge. Sherman has been fighting for justice and serving our community for over 20 years. He is endorsed by the Democratic Party and the Laborers Union on Election Day, Tuesday, May 21st. Vote Sherman Toppin, button number 14, an African-American candidate for judge. And remember, there's no stopping Sherman Toppin.
Paid for by the Committee to elect Sherman Toppin for judge.
Hi, Philadelphia. I'm Lori Dow, ballot number 18, asking for your support on May 21st for election as judge with the Court of Common Pleas. I'm from West Philadelphia, born and raised, endorsed by labor unions and the Philadelphia Bar Association. Please help me continue my work as a public servant, protecting children and strengthening families. I'm asking for your vote on Tuesday, May 21st. Press number 18 for Lori Dow, judge, Court of Common Pleas.
Paid for by Friends of Lori Dow for judge.
Teresa Brunson, number 30, on the ballot for municipal court, is an outstanding attorney. As you know, most of the people going to court today belong to us. They are our children. Teresa has helped me pro bono. We need Teresa Brunson, number 30, for municipal court. She's good for families, small claims, stands for justice, the only African-American for this seat. I'm Madeline Dunn, and I endorse Teresa Brunson for municipal court, lever number 30.
I'm Teresa Brunson, and I approve this message.
This is Marion Tasco asking you to vote Green first on May 21st. In his first term, Derek Green has worked hard to create opportunities for all Philadelphians, and he will continue to fight for our economy and our schools. Derek Green has the experience, leadership, and vision to move Philadelphia forward. Join me in pushing button 78 on May 21st to re-elect Councilmember Derek Green.
Paid for by the Green Fund.
Election Day is Tuesday, May 21st.
Show up and bring a friend.
This is Word Radio, 96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Philadelphia, independent black media. You're waking up
with Word,
hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM and 96.1 FM WURD radio. I never know when if that beat is going to just stop right there, and I always forget that. Yeah, that beat stops right there. You know what I mean? If I was rapping over it, though, that would have been nice. But, you know, we're doing what we're doing. So, Kawesa, I got to ask you a question because I saw something nasty today. We got a nasty alert. All right. So I leave out of here. I go in the men's room. And, you know, you often see, you know, things happen in the men's room. You see people's personal habits really on full display, such as non-hand washing and that type of thing. Now, I'm used to that, right, in a public restroom. What I'm not used to is seeing somebody brushing their teeth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not something that I have grown accustomed to over the years, Kawesa. And I just need to check with you to make sure it is not just me.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not just you. I guess the other piece, though, too, I try to look at it like, well, at least he's brushing his teeth. Like, I'd rather brush his teeth there than have steak breath and be humming in my face. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
Still gross, though.
But you got strangers in here using this bathroom, and you in here brushing your teeth.
And you know, like when people brush their teeth, and you know the toothpaste be flying out their mouth. I mean, that's germy, like spit and all on the...
No, I'm talking about the germs that you in there dealing with while you brushing your teeth.
Oh, that's right.
Like the germs that you're dealing with, for that you're getting from other folk. I want to know what you think. What have you guys seen? Because I done seen some stuff, man. It's a public restroom. I done seen people washing the dishes. I'm dead serious. You know what I mean? And I'm like, would Carolyn Jones allow me to do that? Would my mother approve? And I'm like, no, she would not. So I want to know what you think. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. Brushing your teeth in a public restroom, is it me? 215-634-8065. That's the stop laughing, Kaweza. That's the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. I have seen some stuff, man, and this kind of takes the cake. Maurice from Southwest is on line 4. Go ahead, Maurice.
Solomon, I used to work in a prison, so you know how I've seen it.
I know you just seen it all. Lord have mercy.
Let me get a little more serious. You and that last caller, man, you guys are so much on point. I loved everything both of you said.
Thank you.
But one thing we got to understand about this voting thing, it all starts from home.
Yep.
It's home training that we get from our parents. People don't eat together. They don't talk. Everybody, if they do, are in the room. Everybody got a cell phone in their hand.
True.
You know, we got to get back to basics. The drug dealer has become a regular neighbor. You see him on the corner, hi, Jimmy. What is going on?
You are so right, though.
It's normalized.
Yeah, yeah.
And I live in Southwest. I can walk 20 blocks in any direction and can't find a Afro-American store. I can find a Jamaican store. I can find an African store.
Yeah.
But I can't find a black owner American.
Right.
That has a business. But I'm not going to tell anybody how to vote today. I'm just saying just vote.
Yeah.
I've been putting this message out ever since you left, Solomon. And people are like, what are you talking about the election for? Because you got to lead a horse to water.
That's right.
And that's what I've been. And what I'm saying is some of these people I've been pretty hard on, but I still care about them. I just want them to do the right thing. I ain't that I want to kick them out of office. I just want them to do the right thing. Like we talk about what the white cops do to us, but we need to really be talking about what do we do to each other.
Truth.
Bring that home. So I'm saying after this election is over, we got two things to do. Either we're going to get an independent to run, or we're just going to shut up and not say nothing.
I hear you,
Get
Maurice.
this thing together. So listen, Tom, you're doing a great job.
Thank you, man.
You. The professor owed me some money. And I want to thank you for that last two conversations because anybody wanted, even somebody that didn't agree with you, had to say, wow, I got to think about this one. So thank you.
Thank you, man. We appreciate you, and thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Betty from Delaware County is on line 1. Go ahead, Betty.
Hi. I have to tell you, since I became a citizen, I've been voting with my girl since then.
That's a great thing.
That's another thing about toothbrushing. I was in traffic 2 days ago. Somebody was brushing his teeth in the car.
I mean, if you just watch people, you could be endlessly entertained.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of things happening. It's just crazy. But yeah, people have to vote. I don't understand people in this country. Where I'm from, it's a dictator country. And that's exactly what happened in our eye. I was a refugee once. So what happened right now, I can see it happen in my country a couple years back.
Wow.
I can see exactly the same thing happen in my country. Before.
So what country are you from, Betty?
I'm from Togo.
Okay.
So same thing. It's been going on. And I can see it play right here.
Wow.
And I can tell you, it's going to be a dictator country if we don't get our act together.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
I want to thank you so much for that warning because, thank you. You have a good day, too. Because a lot of us don't realize, man, what we are watching is a move toward dictatorship. That's what we're watching. You know, when you try to silence the press, when you try to undermine the truth, when you tell people that the only truth is what I tell you, when you refuse to yield to checks and balances, like all of that stuff is a move toward dictatorship. Let's go back to the phone lines. Talk to Olanian from Nicetown. Olanian, what's up?
Hey, what's up, brother?
How you doing?
I'm doing real good because I just got finished voting.
Okay. All right. That's what it's about.
I want to respond to the issue of cleaning your teeth in the bathroom.
Yes.
coincidentally, I saw a man do it yesterday. And I felt normal because I've done it before, but I haven't done it much. Sometimes when I'm at work and I'm like, oh, gosh, I forgot to clean my teeth when I was home.
Yeah.
You're afraid that your breath don't smell right, so you have a toothpaste.
That's an emergency. That's different. That's an emergency. Like, is it a habit? Is it like, because I want to brush my teeth in my own bathroom. At least I know where all the germs that came from in there. I don't know what's in the public bathroom, and I'm in there. I don't know what's in there.
Well, you know what I also did?
What?
I was in North Philadelphia going to one of these organizations that help poor people get on their feet and whatnot. And I decided to go to the bathroom, and before I have an interview for a job, whatever, I decided to shave. And the man who was one of the managers said, no, you cannot use my bathroom to shave because you might kill yourself. Either you kill yourself or strangle yourself or something. Well, most of the time when I'm at work and I say, I forgot to shave, I go in the bathroom and I shave.
I hear you, man. Olanian, thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Katie from West Oak Lane on line 1. Go ahead, Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning.
For that public bathroom situation, like me, I'm a nurse. I do 12 to 8, and I will do 8 to 4. After the first thought, where you want me to go wash my teeth, I have to wash my teeth. But that time, I cannot come back home to wash my teeth before I continue my next talk.
Okay.
That is why sometimes if you have to just do whatever you want to do and make sure you clean when you finish. That's the only thing I can say.
I hear you. So you talking about when you ain't got no choice. That's what you talking about.
I have no choice.
Okay.
I need my second thought, and I don't want to, because I can take my break at least a little bit before I need my second thought will start. I need to wash my teeth to refresh myself.
All right, Katie. Well, we are going to absolve you from any blame because you don't have no choice. All right?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go back to the phone lines and talk to Viola from Millboro, Delaware on line 4. Go ahead, Viola.
Hey, Solomon, I'm glad you're back.
I'm glad to.
First time calling.
Thank you.
I have to come visit you in church. My daughter belongs there and a couple other relatives.
Okay.
So I know where you are.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I've been on my Facebook page and bold letters telling my children and grandchildren that they better get out and vote.
I know that's right.
Because there's nothing happening down in this lower area of Delaware. Because I went to work on the polls last year because I wanted to see where the black folks were and why they're not voting.
Right.
500 people came to the primary, and I think it was 4 people out of black. And, you know, I mean, it's devastating. So I worked the polls for that reason. Never worked them before in my life, but always have been voting since I was 21.
Okay.
But I do brush my teeth wherever I have to.
Okay. All right.
At the flower show, I'm in the bathroom. I mean, it's as clean as your bathroom at home. The germs in the bathroom, you have germs in your bathroom, and I keep my toothbrush covered.
I do. I know I got, but I know how often my bathroom is clean. I know who's cleaning it, and sometimes I got to go behind them because my kids clean the bathroom. But I don't know about
because I live alone.
Okay.
I live alone, so I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Same token, I carry a toothbrush in my pocketbook at all times. Even if I brush them with plain water, I want these teeth to last me the rest of my life.
I hear you.
That's what you got to do. But there's no big thing about brushing your teeth places. People would probably have teeth if they brushed their teeth more places.
Uh-oh.
You have a great day, and I'm coming to Philly today, so I'm going to be checking out some of those voting places.
Please do, and let us know what's going on. All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate your call this morning on WURD Radio. So we're about a 50-50 split on the public bathroom toothbrushing, Coesa. So we're going to have to continue that conversation because there's some stuff. Maybe that's what we do, man, because there's some stuff that I'm seeing that I just need to share with our people to just make sure that I'm not the one who's crazy. Because I think it's me. Sometimes I think it's me. But sometimes I think it's y'all. So we appreciate everybody, man, who joined us on today's show. That's going to do it for this edition of Wake Up with Word. I want to thank everybody who joined us on today's show, including David Thornburg of the Committee of 70, Ben Waxman of the District Attorney's Office, CNN commentator Roxanne Jones, and Micah Sims of Common Cause, Pennsylvania. Once again, congratulations to Word's very own rapping professor, Dr. Aaron Smith. He and his brother won $1 million on Shazam. And, of course, our thoughts and our prayers go with them as they go to spend that money, and we know that they will do that wisely. And now, for super producer Kawesa Mathis, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying tune in tomorrow for more Wake Up with Word. Peace.
Philly, D.C., and everything in between. Reality Check with Charles Ellison. Breaking down the latest in local and national news. Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. Right here on Word Radio.
Hi, I'm Erica Almiron. I spent the last 20 years organizing our communities to fight for justice. I'm running for Philadelphia City Council at large, and I'm fighting for fully funded schools, affordable housing, and criminal justice reform. That's why I've been endorsed by over 25 organizations across our city, including Black Clergy of Philadelphia, SEIU 32BJ, and the Philadelphia Inquirer. Use your power today and vote for me, Erica Almiron, for City Council at large, button number 68. This ad was paid for by friends of Erica Almiron.
Hello, I'm Ron Hawthorne. I'm a lifelong Philadelphian who appreciates effective leaders. I believe that hard-working class citizens should have a leader that best represents the interests of the community. I've spent many years watching elected officials fall on their sword for greed, power, and taxpayer settlement payouts. That stops here on May 21st with Rochelle Bilal for Philadelphia Sheriff.
It's time for change, Philadelphia. Push button number 50 for Rochelle Bilal for Sheriff. Paid for by the friends of Rochelle Bilal.
I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and I'm running for City Council in the 3rd District. Growing up in Kingsessing, I learned the importance of community. I founded a program to help single moms graduate college, served as executive director of the Fairmount Park Conservancy, and created jobs and affordable housing programs. I'm Democrat Jamie Gaudier, and on City Council, I will battle gentrification and improve